Oh boy, welcome back. Are we recording?
We are recording.
Oh, we are. Okay. Here we go. Hello.
2 and 4. Yep.
Hello. I can't hear myself.
Really? Talking to?
Hello.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Am I not present?
4. No, you're number 3.
Hello. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go.
All right, go for it.
Oh boy, I'm back. We're back.
We're back.
Hello. Welcome to the apartment. I'm Asif Ali. This is
Ali Baluch.
And what a time it has been, huh?
It's been a long time, man. I feel like maybe an episode or two has gone by without you here, you know?
Mm-hmm. Still great episodes, though.
Yeah, where have you been? Where are you at?
Guys, I've been busy. I'm working on a special, Goat Face sketch special for Comedy Central.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So we're working on that.
When can we expect to see something, like a trailer?
Ooh, well, we start shooting it after I come back from shooting season 3 of Wrecked.
And that's where you're at right now.
I'm right there right now. I'm in the island of... I'm on
Are
the
you
island
allowed
of
to
Fiji.
disclose?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
on the island of Fiji, and I'm shooting season 3 of Wrecked, and it's going great. I have to say, it's going really great.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited and pumped for you guys to see season 3 of that show. But then we'll shoot the Goat Face sketch special for Comedy Central after. So after that. So
Okay.
then you would see snippets of both probably around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Like
You'd probably
September,
see,
August, September?
You'd probably see Wrecked before. So Wrecked will probably be airing later in the summer, like July-ish. And then,
oh, wow, that's soon.
And then the Goat Facing will probably be like later on. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But the Goat Face, of course, is me, comedian Fahim Anwar, who we had on the show, Aristotle Athiras, who's our director and a great actor, and also Hassan Minhaj. So we're all
the squad's back together.
Squad's back together, baby. So I've been
That's
doing
fun.
that stand up,
So you're doing a show, you got Goat Face, and you're doing stand up.
and I'm trying to write also a pilot with my friend Prashant, who is a great writer. He writes on everything. He wrote on Bill Nye. He wrote on Hassan's Netflix show.
Yeah.
So he's a beast, man. He's like the funniest.
And this is that
brown
Chicago.
writer.
This is that Chicago one, right?
It's the Chicago
This is
connection.
so. I remember I read the treatment, and this is
Yeah.
exciting. I was really excited about this.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. So anyway, so I have a lot of things happening, but
Yeah.
ultimately, I like being here. You
Oh,
know?
thank you.
I love doing these interviews because they're great, and I learn a lot, and I feel like, it's just a good time.
Yeah, and while you're still here, we would love for you to, subscribe to the podcast. So
We need you to subscribe.
because
okay?
once our numbers grow, we'll be able to grab bigger guests.
Yes, the
'Cause-
guests that you want to be on the show. It's just their people
Yeah.
are like, what?
Yeah, dealing with management and agent,
a lot.
they're like,
It's too much.
this podcast isn't big enough for our client. You
But
know,
we think it's big enough.
I-
But we
yeah.
need you to subscribe and tell your friends about it because it's a great podcast. I'll say it. It's a
I
great
think
podcast.
It's a great podcast. I love it. And you know what? Yeah, it's a great podcast, and I love it. And for this episode,
Yeah.
and you know what? If this is your first time watching,
Welcome.
This is The Apartment. It's our chance to sit with our favorite diverse content creators, influencers, musicians, actors, athletes, and we really get to dive in about their background and their journey to, where they've gotten to and, their inspirations. And this week, we have
They're very funny.
Ramy Youssef.
He's a stand-up comedian. I've done shows with him. He's hilarious.
Yeah. You might have seen some of his commercials.
Yeah, you may have seen him. He had a phenomenal set on
Stephen
Late
Colbert.
Night with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
He was a recurring character on the Emmy Award-winning program Mr. Robot, and also he is doing a show for Hulu.
Yeah.
He got a pilot with Hulu. Yeah. It's a show about him essentially.
Yeah.
Growing up, being an Arab Muslim dude living in Jersey.
Yeah.
And we got to see it. We got a little
We were able
little
to
sneak peek.
See the pilot.
And
It's exciting. And for a lot of the younger folks, you might have seen him back in the day on Nickelodeon, Nick at Night on See Dad Run.
See Dad Run. And you might be wondering why my co-host is not, wearing Adidas, which in fact you are wrong because our show, per usual, is sponsored by the greatest athletic company of all time, Adidas.
Of all time, Adidas.
And he's wearing
I'm
Adidas
wearing it.
pants
I'm wearing
there.
it right there.
And of course, their slogan, Adidas, if you haven't taken a dump in them, you haven't used them right.
That's actually on the tags.
That's on the tags.
So use our promo code APT apartment 20 for a 20% discount.
And once again, we're so proud from day one
Yeah.
to have such a multinational global
Yeah.
company such as Adidas, who is, their reach in the athletic world is tremendous, and even in modern pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
And for them to sponsor a
podcast.
show like ours,
We're very
is
grateful.
amazing.
It's
So
humbling.
Again, shout outs to Adidas. Adidas, if you aren't wearing it, you're fucking up.
Very true. Very true.
So enjoy the episode. You're really gonna like it. Really, we get into everything: comedy, acting, writing, staying true to yourself in the pursuit of arts. So just enjoy it. This is our episode with Ramy Youssef.
Do you write as well? So I'm assuming you wrote the pilot.
Yeah.
And did you direct it or?
No, I wish I did.
Okay.
Do you think that would have been? Well, did they not let you direct it?
I wouldn't have wanted to. It would of course in retrospect, you're like, oh yeah, I could have done the whole thing, but it would have been overwhelming for me.
No.
In series,
Yeah.
definitely, but for the pilot, no.
This could have been your lady boy.
My lady boy.
Oh, is that? Oh, shit. Lady Bird.
Or
Asif's he's got
Lady
other
Boy, but that's
things
another
on
one.
his mind.
Yeah. Guys, I've been Googling. Yeah.
hey, we're a very progressive podcast.
yeah, of course.
All right, shall we?
yeah. Let's
do it.
This is, and you edit this, right? So
Yeah.
if we get into some shit,
yeah,
okay, cool, yeah.
No, our audience is like super
They want that shit.
conscious.
though.
No,
They
but
don't-
so like we wouldn't, even if things get a little.
they don't really care for like. So what do you usually eat in your morning?
Yeah,
routine?
no, fuck
They
that.
don't
Yeah,
care about that.
yeah.
shit.
No,
Yeah.
but yes, but we do I wouldn't say we censor, but I'm like, okay, if we talk about something and there's like some side comment that could potentially like distract from the fuller conversation,
We'll
it'd
just
be
cut out,
like
yeah.
maybe like it, even if it might be harmless, but I'm like the attention will be focused on like Ramy said something or Elise said X, Y, and Z, but I'm like, context, and then we're not here to.
It's like, why does Asif say the N-word every episode?
Every episode.
But
It
he
takes a lot of
never-
editing.
That's why it
Most
takes
of
me
our budget-
forever.
He never stops.
Casual, too, for no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every slur in the book, Asif is just shooting it out there.
With there's no.
Part of my charm, honestly.
Yeah, it brings the vibe to it. Yeah.
My man, so you started early. You started young too in this industry.
Yeah.
And working.
Yeah.
You dropped out of college, correct?
I did.
To pursue this, the college
I did,
dropout.
man. I did the
both dropped
thing.
out.
We both. When did you drop out?
I dropped out the sophomore year
Yeah.
of college. How far did you get?
I think I finished my sophomore year, and then I did go to semester 5.
Okay.
For a bit, I was just like, this isn't.
Once you check out, you check out.
You're out.
And I assume it's the
Yeah.
same way when like people know that they're getting a divorce.
Right.
But it goes on for a couple more
Sure,
years.
but you start cheating. Like that's kind of what.
You're like, I'm going now.
Right. It's like it's
you start
over.
cheating. You stop attending classes. You start skipping.
And
Oh,
you,
yeah.
And you keep
Yeah.
going to class because it's like that's the kids of like maybe I should stick around.
No, I didn't. I wouldn't go. Like I was, even though I made it as far as I did, I wasn't like doing well. It's not like I had like 2 solid years and then put
4.0 and you're
put to rest this beautiful career at college.
Professors
It
were
wasn't-
like
yeah.
calling you like, oh, what about our meetups? Yeah.
Yeah, it was none of that. So it was, but yeah, I also just stopped going. I don't know what you did. I didn't talk to anyone about it. I just stopped paying. Like I never like went in. I feel like you're supposed to go into an office and be like, here's you sign something. Nothing. Like and they never asked. Which kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, I thought I'd get an email that was
Yeah.
like, "Are you gonna pay this semester?"
Yeah.
But it was almost like they knew too, which like hurt.
It's offensive because they didn't even make it like, oh, they were even slightly worried about you. They're
No.
like, we were hoping
Yeah.
that this would have happened
Yeah, oh, yeah.
sooner. Honestly, you
Ramy's
were dead
not.
weight on this
Yeah, yeah,
campus,
yeah.
and you're bringing everyone else down.
Yeah, just I mean, awful. Like it just is no. I actually never even applied to college. I went to so I went to Rutgers in Newark, but they had this thing because like the business school was new, and I guess they were
Yeah.
trying to get people. And I was kind of like in high school, and I was like, I was like, my transcripts will, I'll get in maybe. But they had this thing for the new business school, instant decision day.
Whoa.
Where you just go, and I was like, oh, I can talk. Like, and it's like an interview, and they like look at your thing. And so I just went in, and I was like, killed this interview. And she's like looking at my transcripts, and I'm like small talking to her. I'm like, yeah, look up. Like, let's just keep talking. Like that kind of thing. And then she's like, well, you're in.
Oh my God.
And I just got into school. And then like,
And that's a hard school to get into.
yeah, no, Rutgers. Yeah, and then once you're in the Rutgers system, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was like, I'll just get into the business school
Yeah.
because they have this instant thing, and then I can transfer however I'd like, and it totally worked.
You know how many people are going to be watching and listening to this
Yeah.
so mad at you
So
because
mad.
they got denied
I'm mad.
Rutgers?
Well, forget Rutgers. Just getting into college like that. Getting into college without any
I never sent in an
SATs,
application.
nothing.
I mean, it was there. I took them.
Yeah.
But was it
they
really
don't-
that
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of those movies where like you're doing like a distraction. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, here's it was like that.
You were like I switched to Verizon recently, and that's
Hey,
exactly,
welcome.
Thank you, and that's exactly what those like phone people do. It's just like, yeah, but like, what's the internet like? And they're like, nah, we're gonna give you a free case, and
Yeah.
then they just like push you.
And you get the case. Yeah. No, I gave her a free case. That's exactly what happened.
I
It
got
was-
I got the case, the little pop socket thing.
So after college, then when you decided to drop out,
Yeah.
did you have a conversation with anyone in your family where you're just like, I'm not gonna show up, and you'll figure it out, or you won't?
How'd your parents take it? Yeah.
We we had the conversation, that one. My parents were, they weren't angry. They were just kind of like, because I framed it as I'm going to take a break. And my dad was like, if you take a break, you're never going back.
Just like
And
relationships.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
for the most part. Yeah, for the most part.
Wow, we're finding a lot of parallels between relationships and job in college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's all about commitment, right?
Right,
That
right.
is
Yes,
true.
I mean that's at the core
Yeah.
of,
Didn't show your loyalty.
can you finish what
Yeah.
you started? Can you, like there's all of that's there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, college is kind of emblematic more than it is practical, right?
That's
it's
very
more
true,
just
yeah.
this like ritual
Right.
that we go through.
And can you get through it?
Can you get through it?
Right.
It's not even about can you retain it.
Yeah,
none of
yeah,
that.
no one
But yeah, I told my dad, and I was like, I want to take off a semester. I was in acting school at the same time, so I was doing college, and then I'm
Yeah.
in a 2-year acting program, and I'm like, let me finish my acting program, then I'm gonna go back to school. My dad was like, you're never gonna go back, and I was like, no, totally I will. And I leave, end of fall semester, so it's like December. I kind of like show up to finals, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, I went in for an audition, and I just booked a pilot, which I had no idea that would happen. Come out here, shoot the pilot. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm in New Jersey. I come to LA, shoot this pilot. It's for Nick at Night. And it goes. Like, the thing that like never happens. Like, it's like getting booked from New York,
Yeah.
and then like coming here, doing it, and then having it go. And it went from, I dropped out of school in December,
Yeah.
and I was, I got an apartment lease in LA in May. Like, it was just like
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah. The
and
dream. That's literally the dream.
It is, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's like what they do like in TV shows and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
when
in
you're
a
like, that
movie-
wouldn't happen.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah,
that-
and you're like, why would that happen?
Chronologically, that would never be so.
Yeah, and
tight.
it's so crazy because I've been here now for like 6 years, and the more time that's gone by, I look back on that, and the crazier it seems. Like in the moment, I was kind of like, "Oh, cool!
This is what
Like,
happened.
This happened,"
Yeah, yeah.
And then like 6 years later, I'm like, "How did that happen?"
Like, this is just like my Rutgers
that
interview.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it was kind of.
Just had a good interview.
I
Got
mean, it was
another
kind
job.
of like that. Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. Just
Yeah.
why would that?
That's insane because I did like 8 pilots before
Yeah.
one actually went.
Yeah,
But that's hard. Just getting a pilot, and you got 8. That's
getting
I mean,
eight
even to
pi-
get 8 pilots is,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
work. But
Yeah.
to have one go is
Oh, yeah.
like, and then it's the milestones always move. So this is why actors never are happy because it's like it's hard enough to book a pilot, right? And then you're like, yeah, I booked a pilot. And then you're like, man, is this pilot gonna get picked up? And then if it gets picked up, you're like, yeah, I got picked up. But like for like how many episodes?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, we got a full season. And then you have to wait around another 4 months because you're like,
are we
will
gonna
it
get
a
another
second
one?
season? And then you get another season. You're like, yeah. And then you shoot that season, and then you have the same. So that feeling of like you'll never feel comfortable until you have like 6 seasons in the bag, and you're like, you know, it's already like a done deal.
Yeah, and because then you're on something and then it ends, and then you're like,
Right.
oh man, am I gonna get on something again, or
Exactly.
will it be that I only did one thing? You know, it never like it's always just a different type
And
of
ultimately,
pain.
I feel like that's always what like my parents and my cousins and stuff. Like I never understood that when I was like starting. Is that's the thing that worried them?
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Was like we're never gonna have like just a sense of like I'll always have a job.
Yeah.
You can say that to yourself. Like I say that to myself, but like
Yeah.
I don't really know, right? But if I was working like at IBM or something, I would know that.
Yeah.
I would know that I'm gonna have this job for like 20 years. And
Where
then
did
I'm
your
retire.
parents came over from?
From India.
From India.
Yeah.
How old were they?
My dad was 32, I think.
Oh wow, there we go.
He was older, yeah. No, he was older when he came to America. That's like
30. Actually, that's right. My dad came in his 30s. Yeah. what
yeah,
am
it's
I
about
saying?
right for when they come like in their 30s.
Yeah.
And then but like that's crazy cuz like I don't know when your parents came.
My dad was 26 and a half. My mom and dad met in New York, actually. They didn't. Yeah, so it
Wow.
wasn't like a.
Whoa.
Yeah, they met in New York.
Again, your whole life story is just like a series of like things that could be in a movie. Like they come
I
young
feel like-
and then they meet each other in
Yeah,
New York. That's adorable.
It's adorable that they like in Egypt, in Cairo, are maybe 20 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
But meet in Queens.
You know how my parents got my parents got married because like my dad came here against all odds. He was not honestly he still says it like I wasn't really particularly qualified. He doesn't know why he was
Yeah.
he was given access and like doctors and lawyers and engineers that he knew because it
Yeah.
was literally a lottery system back then. It was
Yeah.
literally like
Yeah.
you know whoever you get and then
Yeah.
there's like actual doctors like what the fuck
Yeah.
why didn't I get in? This guy's not even he didn't even
Yeah.
he didn't even do college yet. He's gonna do it over there. And then so he was here, and then when he got a job finally, he talked to his mom and my grandma, and she was like, "Okay, I got you a wife. Come back." There was
Oh,
no
it was like that.
no,
Wow.
and so he went back, and that was it. And now my mom's in. It must have been even weirder because like she just shows up one day and it's like, "Hey, you see that dude sitting on the couch? Ask him to be your husband." And then he's like, "Oh, all right,
Wow.
wedding's like next week. Let's go." So it's like you.
And
don't,
then she goes
they're
to
still
America
married.
with him.
Yeah. And then the crazy thing that is like insane to me about all of our parents is that think about you lived a whole life at what your parents were 26, 27.
Yeah.
You lived a whole life and then now the equivalent would be like if I just threw you in Vietnam and I was like,
Yeah.
thrive.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. Well, it's really, in a lot of ways, I always think about this, where I'm like, my dad came over the age I am now.
Yeah.
Right? He was 26 and a half. And I think about the risks we take, like trying to be in Hollywood. And I'm like, oh, we're like in the lamest
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
We're kind of just like our dads.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? Where we're
Right.
like, oh, that thing makes no sense. I want to go do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm going to just like completely go into the unpredictable. You
Yeah.
know, it's that same muscle.
And have to find a way to survive.
And I have to find a way to survive. So it's this thing where there's this trope where like, oh, immigrant parents don't want their kids in show business or whatever. But I've found that like my dad kind of looks at me and kind of gets it. He's kind of like, yeah, I kind of did that too. Even though
Yeah.
he didn't. You know what I mean? It's not like he's like in entertainment, but he's like, no, like I took a risk. You know, I took that gamble. You know,
and I think if you do get some measure of success, like you have, I think your parents also look at that and go like, "Oh, he actually did it.
He actually did. Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
think he would be able to do it."
Totally,
And that's the
yeah.
same with mine. They're like,
Yeah.
"I thought it wouldn't happen for you."
Yeah.
But you actually did it. So like, I mean, what do we know?
What do we, yeah. It's amazing. I think I felt it. I did Colbert this year, and I think I felt my parents be like, "Oh, you did it."
Yeah.
Even though it was like of the things I've done, like not even like the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just because they knew Colbert.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, cool." And I think there's a part of them that's like, "Oh, well, Colbert will give him a job," and it's like, well, no, I mean, I got to do like 5 minutes on his thing, but they're kind of like, "Oh, it'll be fine," you know,
He's
like
on a show. Colbert wears a suit. Colbert's like
Colbert. he's friends with Colbert, you know, like he's fine, you know. And I'm kind of like, I'll take that, like I'll take that blind like confidence from you guys. Sure, like that's amazing.
So you came out here, you auditioned for the show in New York, you got the show.
Yes.
The show goes for 3 seasons.
Joe, I can be normal. I'm going to prove it to you. Shoot and score. Your ticket guy came through, David. Lakers, Heat, floor seats. Can I get a what? What? Okay, you know what, Kevin? Thank you, but I don't want them. What? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do.
3 seasons, yeah.
And like, you're caking up.
Yeah, I mean,
Not majorly.
No,
but
I mean,
compared to
You're living.
I mean, look, I was working at the Apple Store in New York, so I go from working at the Apple Store, selling iPhones, moving to LA, being like, I don't even need a case on my iPhone. You know, I mean, that's like a, you know,
money.
that's the
money.
trajectory of sorts.
You know,
Right.
you know what's funny? I met Ramy on set of his show 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's where we met?
That's where we met for the first time.
What?
So I was
What
at
was the interaction?
I
He's just
was
trying to find out if he was a dick to you or not.
no.
I'm always just really nice to everybody because I'm like, I don't want it to
course.
haunt me.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, how nice was I?
I was at Nickelodeon.
How much crafty did I offer you?
How nice was I?
I was at Nickelodeon, and we had like, you know, since he was at Nick at Night, we were at Nickelodeon, we were able to like go on set and whatever. So one Friday, me and this girl were like, hey, let's go watch See Dad Run. I was like, I don't know what this is, blah 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 blah. So we're there in the studio audience and we're watching, and I remember vaguely a friend of mine was like, oh, like this random Arab dude was like, yeah, I have a friend that's like, it's an actor at Nickelodeon. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm sure he's just like background extra. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and like they're introducing the cast before it starts. And
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
multicam, for those of you who don't know, basically what happens is when you do a multi-camera show, in the beginning of the taping, they have like the warm-up guy. I don't know what your warm-up guy was, but every warm-up guy I've ever had.
British guy?
This British dude.
This British dude, yeah.
This British dude.
Yeah, my favorite warm-up guy is like this dude who'd come out and he'd just like balance shit on his face. Like he's like, I put a ladder on my face. People are like, ooh, what? It has nothing to do with the TV taping.
It's just pranks for tourists.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
it's just
who wants a
doesn't.
slice of pizza? And when
Yeah.
people are trapped in a room, they'll kill each other for
a slice
a cold
of pizza.
slice of pizza.
I would-
The things
yeah.
I saw people do for a Subway gift card.
for a triple
I mean,
XL
just-
Disney
Yo,
shirt.
I was
Sell
at
their
your
dignity.
taping.
Sell their dignity.
I was at his taping, and they were like, we were all hungry. We were there for hours, and they did that, like pizza, and people. For like a little part of me was like, should I fight for this pizza?
And I'm looking up at them doing
And I'm like,
that
I have
every
too much
time, like
dignity.
Marie Antoinette. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, these people are eating each other
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
So basically, at the taping, what happens is the warm-up guy announces everyone that's on the show, and then they come out from behind the curtains. They put curtains in front of the set, and then they announce like, and playing so and so, blah blah blah, and then the person will come out and wave. So then they were doing that, and then he came out.
Yeah, and I wasn't really paying attention, but I remember like I kind of saw him, and I was like, and they said Ramy Youssef, and like sometimes you just can't hear like what.
Sure.
And I didn't really pick it up, but I was like, wait, did they say like Youssef?
Yeah.
Youssef?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's an Arab name.
Yeah.
And I was like, that guy doesn't look Arab. I was like, he's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
racially ambiguous. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
This
like,
is pre-beard.
Does well.
yeah,
for you.
this was
very-
pre-beard. He was like this, like, what? This was 6 years ago. He was 20 years old. He's this
Yeah.
happy guy, and you know, like, I was like, I don't know, man. He's too quirky and happy to be Arab, you know. And then so I text my friend. I'm like, yo,
He
man,
doesn't have that
Soft brand.
that fire.
that,
yet.
that anger. And I text my friend, I'm like, yo, man, what was your friend's name that was at Nickelodeon? And he was like, Ramy Youssef. And then at the end, when they did it again, when they introduced all the actors again, I was like, oh shit, that's the guy. So after I was like, hey man, what's up? We spoke for a little bit, and then I was like, all right, man, it was nice meeting you. He was like, hey, do you want to take a picture? And
I said, do you want to take a picture? Did we take one?
we took one.
Oh, that's
I
great.
was like, no, yeah, I guess. And then I wonder,
man,
and
you
then
know?
your other co-star, I'm not gonna say who, but your
man.
You know, when you know, you know.
Hey man, people want to take a picture, you know? I think there must have been something I saw in his eyes. I was like, I think this guy
yeah.
He was just like holding
wants
his
something
phone.
to send his friend.
He's just holding his phone like holstered, like he's in the Wild West. You're like, man, you got to take a picture. Let's take a picture.
That's why I asked. I said, I wonder how
No.
nice I was.
Yeah, no, I was.
What degree of you know what it is, because people always come up to you and they're like, yeah, can we take, and so I think I got to a point where I would
Yeah.
preempt it,
Yeah.
where I'd be like, oh, like, and I think, you know, you probably must have exhibited some sort of shyness or
No,
some sort of weakness
No, definitely
that
not.
made
No.
me
It was
feel like I
probably-
should come to you.
You know what it
know?
was? It was a general, probably a general interest in the fact that there was an Arab dude on the show.
Yeah.
And then you probably took it as like another fan.
Hey,
Check.
man,
Look,
what are you gonna
all
do?
I know, and
What
I
are you
remember
gonna
this vividly. It was a Friday night.
Yeah.
We were on the Paramount lot.
Yeah.
I went up to him after the show, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you know so and so?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, he's a mutual friend. Anyways, nice meeting you, man. Dope." And then he was like, "You want to take a picture?" And no way that I exhibit anything. I was trying to walk away.
Maybe I wanted the picture.
Maybe he did.
I've done
You know?
that. I've done
Maybe
that.
I wanted the
wanted to-
photo. I want the photo.
I want the
I
memory.
You know
want
what?
to
I'm
remember
gonna
this.
in the video of this podcast. I'll throw up the picture.
Fantastic.
Do you have the picture?
Yeah,
you think?
yeah. My friend took it and she
It's really
tagged
interesting
me.
for someone who doesn't want
I-
the picture, has kept the picture.
I haven't
Yeah,
kept
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was
Kept
tagged.
it.
Why am
Yeah.
I being attacked?
Through all the changes of the cloud, it's remained up there.
remained.
It's
I
on.
mean,
All right, that's cool.
remembers the picture.
That's cool.
I don't remember the picture.
It's in a folder
Oh.
called celebs.
Okay.
I mean, this feels like someone who wanted a picture. The more we put together the pieces.
Ironically, Ramy will not take a photo with us after this podcast.
No,
no, yeah.
those days are over. If anything's changed,
I got the beard. Once I got the beard, I'm
never
done taking
lead.
photos.
Yeah. I don't need to leave this trail of photography behind.
So,
Okay, so
so
you're
are
out
we
here.
done? Are we done attacking me? Is this?
I don't think
yeah?
so, but we're gonna move on just for time's sake.
That did 3 seasons.
Yeah.
You had some
That did
great,
3 seasons.
great, interesting co-stars in that.
Yeah,
in that,
what are some of your fun moments that you had on that show?
I had an amazing cast. Really fun people.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was very fun.
What was working with Scott Baio?
I was not trying to say it.
It was great. Everyone always asks me.
professional.
Like,
He just
everyone
shows up,
always,
he works, he leaves.
Look, there's the public,
Yeah.
like his everything,
Yeah.
whatever. That everyone always asks me with this, like, oh, what was that like? And
Yeah.
all I can ever be like is like, I had a great time. Like
He
I
was
just-
nice to me.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
And it's not even. I will say that, I had just moved to LA. I didn't really know much. I didn't know anyone, and
Yeah.
I would say everyone there was just really nice to me.
Yeah.
It was great. I had a great, just a great experience. He was super professional.
Yeah.
He always advocated for me on the show, like got me, just more involved in episodes and
Oh,
that kind of
nice.
thing. Yeah, no, he was that was always a great experience. Mark Curry was on the show, hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was amazing. The greatest thing about Mark is that he really so when I moved out there, I hadn't been doing stand up. I was doing sketch comedy in
Yeah.
New York. And then I kind of was like, I think I want to do stand up, and started, the normal LA
Open
move
mics
to
and-
comic, hit
yeah.
up flappers, get
Yeah.
on stage, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so I was kind of like, oh, I'll tell Mark, he's a stand up comic or whatever. And so I tell him, and he's like, when are you performing? And I was like, oh, I mean, I got this show at this spot Flappers in Burbank next week or whatever. And he was like, all right. What? Comes through to the show, just full. I mean, I will never forget him walking through the doors right before I'm supposed to go up. He's just putting out a cigar, wearing this long trench coat. And he comes in and he looks at the woman. He's like, I'm here to see Ramy Youssef.
And she's like,
And she's like, no one knows who that is. And then she sits him in the back. I'm on stage, and he's just laughing so loud and shouting tags mid-set, and he'll clap and just go, Ramy. And then say something way funnier than what I was saying.
basically the supportive father at a baseball game, but
Yeah.
in stand up.
I mean, amazing. And then afterwards, he's like, hilarious, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, I see it. You got to work on it, but yeah, I see it. And then he's like, yeah, I'll take you out on the road
Oh, that's awesome.
to open for me.
That's
And
so
I'm like,
great.
oh, cool. I don't think it's actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
Week later, my manager calls me and he's like, yeah, Mark's agent reached out and you're gonna go with him on these dates and this and that. And so I started cutting my teeth doing stand up, just opening for Mark in these black rooms all over the country, which are way different. You know what I mean?
Way
When we talk
different.
about
Yeah.
crowds
Way
and different, because we perform the Muslim Arab audiences, that's a whole thing. You perform to in LA, whatever, that's a thing. You go to the Midwest, it's a thing. And so the rooms that Mark would bring, it's a different type of crowd, and it was amazing. I don't think there could have been a better way for me to start doing stand-up.
Yeah.
The pure rejection that you get from audiences like that. Because it's not, I think there's this idea of oh, they're going to heckle you.
Yeah.
It's not that. They look at you for 10 seconds, and then they're like, oh, no.
You don't know what you're doing.
No,
I'm
and then they
gonna-
just start talking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go
They
back to what I was doing.
nothing's happening, and there's nothing worse.
You become like a painting on the wall where they're like,
Yeah.
huh? All right.
Yeah.
What are you talking about over here?
Literally, like they would just look at me and they'd be like, "Oh, he's not Mark. Not funny either."
But here's
and then
the
they
thing.
just check out.
But when you do, like I had this in Chicago, but when you do well,
Oh my god.
I mean, it's like an entire, it's like with those commercials where like someone walks into like a city and like it's like that every town USA kind of thing, and everyone comes out of their houses and they're like, oh my god, kind of thing. It's like you're being enveloped by a community.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all on board with you.
Oh, it's like you just got a new family.
It's the best.
It's amazing. It really is the best. And I remember going on those dates with him, just getting eaten alive, and he would just laugh. I mean, he would just be like, "Ha, figuring out the room, huh?" And then by the end, getting to that place where it's like every show, it was like I got adopted by the people of Baltimore or wherever we were, you know. And it was. I don't think there was anything ever more, transformative for just in pure terms of like. You know how it is. Like you're working on stage, you're trying to like make leaps, and you guys know Mo Amer. I remember Mo telling me years ago when I was like just kind of new to stand up, and he was like, every time you get up on stage, you're surrounded by a brick wall, and you're just taking bricks off.
Yeah.
Some shows you maybe get a corner off, some shows you can pull 4 off at once, but your whole career is just trying to have nothing be between you and the audience.
Yeah.
And those shows, like that experience, like opening for Mark was like just bringing down the bricks.
Yeah.
Like it was huge.
So see, that run was great. It did its Nickelodeon 3-season run, a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Then did you just solely focus on you did a few commercial spots, Super Bowl commercials?
Yeah.
That was like so wild. I'm just watching the Super Bowl and I'm like, that's fucking Ramy. He did one with Mark Ronson.
Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Down, fuck you up. Uptown, fuck you up.
Was that on the Super? It was on during the Super Bowl.
It was a Super Bowl. Yeah.
That's so funny. I didn't know that.
You didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
I thought it was just online, but then it did play during the thing.
Yeah.
It was great. It was really fun.
What Super Bowl? This one?
No, it was when
was
Uptown Funk was
was big.
It
was like 2-3 years ago.
So-
That'd be weird if he did it now. He's like, guys, you remember my hit Uptown Funk?
Everyone's like,
They're like, yeah, like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
man.
it's
Jeez. Let it go.
I think the commercial was, and I haven't seen it since, but it was like everywhere Mark goes, everyone's kind of singing Uptown Funk, and then he goes to the gym and Ramy's on the treadmill next to him.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
That's
it was
great.
fun. It was great. He was great. That was a friend of mine was directing that. It was
Right.
really, and he was like, dude,
on.
you want to come be in this thing? And I was like, I don't have to audition. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you did the show. You
Yeah.
were doing stand-up.
Did the show,
You
yeah.
were doing other acting gigs.
Yeah, I mean, I
Here and
went
there.
down that whole
Yeah.
testing for pilots, kind of thing.
That whole route.
Just the whole,
And then how did you get into like really getting deep into stand-up? Were you just like, you just went all the way in?
Yeah, it was kind of all that I had going on, really. I mean, I was auditioning, I'm sure you felt this where it's like, but even, we were talking about me being ethnically ambiguous. I would go in for these roles where they wanted me to be more
Oh yeah.
Arab,
Yeah.
or they would have loved for me to be Indian. You
Yeah.
know, there's like all these things that I would go in for, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you're not quite that." And then
Yeah.
I would go in for like a leading man thing, and they'd be like, "Well, I mean, you're cute, but you're not like a leading guy." You know what I mean?
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice to see you smile, but you're not leading this thing. So it was just this weird couple of years of kind of like, oh, there's no space
Zone
for me, because even the show that when I did the Nick and Night show, I went in and it was like written originally for a 40-year-old dude, and I just kind of went in with my take, and then they were kind of like, oh, let's just do this other thing.
Yeah.
Anything I've ever booked in my life was always just like, let's just do the thing we didn't write. Let's just do another thing.
Yeah.
And so it was this weird thing, a weird place to be as an actor, because you're not fitting anything, and that definitely pushed me more towards stand-up, because I was kind of like, well, I mean, I can't just be waiting for, it was like almost like stand-up was like the, more as odd as it sounds, the more reliable, like me, but also what I love doing, you know what I mean? So it wasn't even about that as much as it was like, oh, I really like communicating this way.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to follow what I want to do, So it kind of, the downtime from acting made me just go all the way in on that.
Were there some pilots that you tested for that you're like, that would have changed my life? I remember I went out for Community when I first moved, and I was like, fuck, man, if I would have booked that,
to be
I would be
Abed?
such an asshole. Because imagine moving out, and not only moving out, getting on a show that's like a hit.
Yeah.
That would have been
Right?
a game changer.
Yeah.
I would have been such an asshole.
Yeah, I think they all would have changed.
I would have not taken a photo with this guy.
No.
Yeah.
And I want you to remember that.
Okay.
I want you to remember who would and wouldn't take photos.
I'll cherish that when as
It's
I
so
was walking.
funny.
I was
He
like,
turned
get your
that-
slice of pizza, get the fuck out of here.
He turned that into us bullying him, even though he said it as like a slight to me to kind of like bring like a flashback of me. being
No,
like,
no, no, no,
like,
no. It wasn't
that's
a
how he-
slight
That's how
in
he.
any
That's how he
way.
brought it up, and then he was like, "Oh, I've been bullied so much for my Android phone and for the photo thing. Guys, can we just talk about the art?"
taking him to task.
Yeah, it's like so completely his doing. Where I was just being nice. I was just like, "Hey, do you want like And now that I think about it, we probably took that photo so we could send it to our mutual friend. That's
know.
probably what I was thinking. I was
boy.
thinking, let's take a photo to send it to him.
Okay.
Who is
They can
he?
celebrate
I don't
us.
remember who it was.
Because you don't hang out with that person.
No, I mean my
I don't-
past I
I-
have cut off as
Jersey
violently
ends.
as possible.
Yeah. Jersey ended once he got to LA.
Anyone? Yeah.
So
anyone.
were there pilots where you're like, oh man.
Yeah, well, but then I look back, and I think the way you just said it is perfect. I look back, and I'm like, they would have changed my life for the worse.
Yeah.
Because I think there's nothing. Look, some people can have the perspective. I think the way we were raised, just I think in general, to make a broad statement,
Yeah.
our families come from other countries.
Yeah.
There is a thing about money. We really want financial security.
Yes.
We really want financial stability, which is one of the biggest, killers of creativity.
Yeah.
And I think if I had gotten financial security sooner, it would have been a problem.
You wouldn't have tried to develop your craft as
It just
much
would
as you
have.
did.
I would have felt like I did something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it was so in me to be like, okay, I need money. I need, whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's what we're like. Well, how are you gonna make money if you're gonna drop
Right.
out of school, this and that? And which is, I think, a common thing, but it's just so in our DNA. And I think the show I did, I really made just enough to kind of like have a year or two where I could do stand up, and then it was like very quickly like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like what's the game plan money wise?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think if I had booked any of those things that I was up for a network show, I was up for this or that, I just think I would have gotten into a groove of comfort that like could have hurt me, like could have hurt my growth,
Yeah.
my creativity in a
Right.
way where you know how it is. You just you keep digging, you keep going deeper when you have to. And so yeah, like booking any of those things would have been cool for a moment, but like
Right.
you think about life and you're like, I think the longer it takes, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you kept doing it,
Yeah.
and then you eventually got to a point where you did Colbert. What
That
is
was
What
huge.
is that process?
That was
like?
amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
What is that process like? Did you have to send in a tape?
The producer saw me. Well, it was really cool, man. So Mo, who was telling you about, Mo did Colbert. Mo
Okay.
was like in At the Cellar,
crushed
and
it.
he's like
Yeah, yeah.
crushed Colbert.
Yeah.
And then I was just opening for him a bunch, and the Colbert producer saw me. I mean, it's like it was a total assist from Big Bro Mo.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And she saw me and she was like, "Oh, I gotta get you on here.
Let's put you on here.
Let's put you. We got to do it." And I was in New York for like a couple of months. I had booked like it was one of the few acting things that has come through where I booked a little recurring on Mr. Robot. And
Yeah.
so I was there last
We'll get
year
into that too,
shooting
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just kind of like one of those perfect storm kind of things where it's like, oh well, that thing's happening. And then she saw me have a good set, and then it was kind of like really the set that she saw me do. We just basically did that set and,
Wow.
and went to
What's that feeling like? Because I mean, people don't know that like the average show that you do is a club show, and it's
Yeah.
it's a much different vibe. People are there, and it's that brick wall thing of like, all right,
Yeah.
what do you have for me? When you do stand up in like a theater or like on a TV show that happens to be in like a gigantic theater,
Yeah.
is the vibe different? Did you feel like people were like, okay, what do you have? We're
It's-
on board.
It's bizarre at Colbert.
Yeah.
It's. I think any of these late night things are bizarre, but it's like you're going up at 2 p.m. You're doing stand up in the
People
middle
don't
of
know
the
that.
day. You're doing it in this huge theater with these like high ceilings, this
Yeah.
whole thing. I mean, stand up at its best is late it's low, it's dingy, and it feels, you know, like you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And that's why you want to hear what people are saying. Because like, man, the only reason I'm here is because this dude's about to say something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that bathroom door keeps fucking swinging, and it smells odd. You know, but like, wow, that thing that person's saying is amazing. You know, that's for me the best. Colbert's the opposite of that. It's this really dressed up thing. It's Colbert.
It's prestigious.
It's prestigious,
like,
and it's also like, you know, which people don't quite get the rhythm of. But it's like when there's no opener, when there's no this or that. Like there's all these like stand up things.
So the audience has no idea what they're.
Yeah, the audience hasn't seen stand up.
They have no time to acclimate.
Yeah, and they have people who like have had a crowd warm up guy shooting T-shirts at them from a cannon
Right into their faces.
You know, and then I come out and I'm kind of like, hey, so I'm gonna do stand up, and also it's like kind of heavy. Like it's not like
is he gonna do like a somersault or some shit? He's just gonna talk.
What's he gonna do? A funny accent? And I'm like, no, actually, I want to talk about the impact of terrorist attacks on my childhood.
And I'm like, all right. But that in its own way is you know, a challenge that I'm sure you got picked for a reason, in that, you know, talking about things like that and also breaking through and getting people to laugh is that's I mean
the Colbert audience is so smart, and it was so fun, dude. It was like it really, you know, it's I mean, it's a thing, and it in a lot of ways it was not even the most high pressure thing I've done. You know, there's just, it's almost like more pressure to get there, and then you get there and you're like, I'm here. Why? Like, and that's always something I've felt. Anytime you actually get to the thing and get it, you're like, man, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't supposed to be here. Like, there's no like, why would I doubt now? You know,
I've always heard that the hardest part is getting the job.
It's just getting the thing.
Yeah.
You feel you didn't show up to Wrecked and like you're not nervous there.
Piss my pants every day.
He walks into the ocean.
Wardrobe does not like me.
Those are deeper issues for you. That's not, you know.
I'm overhydrating. What can I say?
You know, I don't know what to say about that.
So you're there, you know, you're behind the curtains, blah, blah, blah. They you know, they announce you. That's legit, man. You go out.
Yeah.
Did you have your people in the audience?
So I get out there, man. It's so funny you asked that. Two things happen when I get out there. First, I get out, I look to the left, I see John Batiste and his band.
Of course.
And I know John Batiste from, like, I met him at Sundance, like, a couple years ago. One year I just was, like, feeling like, oh, I want to know what happens at Sundance.
Yeah.
And I was, like, split. I was like, man, I don't want to go there unless I have something there. But then the other part of me was like, I want to know what gets in there, you know? And so I had friends there. Night before, I, like, booked tickets. I go to Sundance, watch the films, and kind of just see what people are doing. It was exciting. I met John Batiste there. And so we, like, kind of became friends a little bit, but I didn't see him, you know, for a couple of years until that moment. Like, I didn't even see him, like, backstage. So I kind of get out and I see John Batiste and we kind of look at each other. We're like, yo, like, this is crazy. This is, like, cool. So it was kind of this, like, initial cool moment. And then I get out and, you know, I have the mic and I start getting into my set. And I look up, you know, on the second tier, there's, like, a balcony level. And my mom is standing, like, waving her arms. Like,
she's in the mezzanine.
Yeah, mezzanine,
on
waving
her
arms like she's guiding an airplane on the runway. Like, it's not even like
bringing you home. Like,
yeah, she's not even cheering. She's not even saying hi. She's almost like, look at me, Ramy. like it's like trying to like take my attention.
I love you.
And you know this from stand up where it's like my reflex. I do a ton of crowd work. My reflex is to start talking to my mom. Like, I'm up there and I'm like, this set's about to be me talking to my mom. And I tell you, I was about to do it until I saw this like Colbert staffer like come and like sit my mom down. And then I was like, all right, I'm not going to do it. But if she was up for another 30 seconds, like another, not even 10 seconds, I was about to start riffing with her. I was about to be like, guys, my mom's, I would have turned into.
Which would have been amazing because it would have turned the camera around and zoomed in on your mom.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the Southwest dance up on the mezzanine.
No, it almost could have been that. And part of me wishes it was that. I mean, but
either way, your set was great.
I feel like no matter what I do, I'm just going to turn 30 and get a Hogwarts letter from ISIS. No, seriously, like, there's just going to be a dude at my house with a beard and an owl, and he's just going to, you're a terrorist, Ramy. You've been one the whole time, and we start in September. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah. Like, do I get a wand? Or?
Did you get to talk to Colbert after the show?
Yeah, I did briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was really, really cool. I mean, it was... Well, what I love about him, what I've always loved about him is that he's so smart, he's so funny, and he also, like, believes in God, which is this thing that I've always felt where I'm like, oh, like, how do we where are people who have a religious sense and believe in God but aren't like, you know, like, because you hear someone believes in God and it's
You're
like,
just like,
it's even me, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like I believe in God. When someone says they believe in God, I'm like, oh God, like what, you know, like we all love America.
No, I feel like
you know?
I know exactly what you mean because I'm the same way.
Like, you know, like we love America. And then you meet someone who's like, I love America.
like,
And you're like, oh
damn
shit.
it. This
Yeah.
barbecue just
This guy
turned
wants
a
to
corner.
fucking shoot everybody.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
like something like turns, you
Yeah.
know? So there's like something like, it's so rare to see like people, you know, in the public sphere kind of like own that in a way that,
Colbert's
that's
very open
cool.
about that.
And he's open about it, but
Colbert
he's like,
and like Pete Holmes are like the two guys that are like I see in the industry that are
Sure.
just very open about faith.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
But in a chill way.
yeah, and it's not like let me shove this down.
I mean, Colbert specifically is just so smart, and he's just so like so. So it was cool because I talk about that a lot in my set that I did on a show, and we just kind of vibed on that, and it was really cool. It was just
Awesome.
yeah.
oh, so awesome. Yeah,
No, that's
So
exciting, man.
awesome.
And
It's
then
also great to just do shit, you know, where you came up, kind of, you know what I mean? To like go, you know, go back
yeah.
to that place and have people be like, he did it.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, we watched Colbert and Jon Stewart, you know,
Of course.
what,
yeah.
end of middle school, high school, all that
that was
stuff.
the jam.
Yeah, and that's
Back
like
to
in
back.
the prime of like we are young Muslim kids being like, we're not terrorists, and like the only two people on TV acknowledging that
Yeah,
were
yeah.
Stewart and Colbert. You know, like
Yeah.
those guys were like our heroes, like both, and for me, both from New Jersey. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, these like, you know, this Jewish guy and this Christian guy from New Jersey are like my only
Are vouching
advocates.
for us.
You know, like those guys are amazing, and then to like go and, you know, grow into a comedy career and then get to do stand up on his show
Yeah.
and like talk about the very thing that like he helped me process. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
So you're going from, you know, working on shows that are, you know, your standard, this is a show, 3 seasons,
Yeah.
you know, and then you get booked on Mr. Robot, and that's like, that vibe has to be different because now you know that now you have that feeling of like, oh, now I'm on a show that's like, this has prestige.
Yo, what up, E? I barely made it past those protesters this morning. I mean, the natives are getting restless. This shit's crazy AF, right?
Is it?
Hey, so I had a piece of Tang this weekend you are not gonna believe, dude. I was unlocking achievements Saturday night that went all the way through to Sunday morning. I even impressed myself.
Yeah.
Sam was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he just let me go for it. I
Oh,
mean,
right.
yeah, it was really cool because Ramy Malek, you know, he has all these like voiceovers in his head and stuff, and then there's always this dialogue that's happening in the background. And,
Right.
And so I guess Sam sometimes like scripts stuff for people, and
Yeah.
he like I riffed a bunch in the audition.
Yeah.
Which is actually. I always riff in auditions, which
too.
is either and you felt this then when people hate when you riff.
Well, here's the thing. I feel
The
like when you
writers.
riff in auditions, they'll just tell you. That's what I love. Like,
Yeah.
I've riffed in auditions where they go, that's great. Because they'll always laugh. Because it's like,
Yeah.
when you riff, they're going to laugh because it's funny. And it's always better to do that than just the opposite of just coming in doing the lines.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, all right, I saw 800 people do the,
Do the
line,
lines,
and
yeah.
like 40 of them went to Juilliard. You're
Yeah.
not going to fucking be better than them, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you come in and show them that thing that you have, right, and you improvise, then they'll always just be like, oh, well, these people wanted to
Yeah.
do the script, so can you just do the script?
the thing, yeah.
It's not like a malicious thing of like, what the fuck, who's this guy? Think he's better than me? It's more of like...
Or
it's
did
more
you
of
feel
like,
it the opposite? Do you feel more angry? Or
No, it's always. I think it's almost always that. I think
yeah,
what you said,
especially
yeah.
for comedy.
Especially
it
for
may
comedy,
not
yeah.
be with drama, but 100% of the time for comedy, it's
Yeah.
they want you to be funny because if they're hiring you to elevate the material, not to just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I auditioned for this drama show and I
Yeah.
improv'd. They hated that.
They're like, this is us. Why are you riffing?
They looked at me like I committed an act of violence. Like I went in, you know, it was amazing. And the
Yeah.
greatest part about it was I riffed some specific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't book it. I have a friend on the show.
He does it.
And my friend's on the show, and I'm looking at her script, and I look at the thing I auditioned for, and they use my riffs.
wow.
They put my riffs in the script.
By the way, there should
They-
be a
put my-
like a you know a
They put my riffs in
rule
the
in
script.
SAG about putting your riffs in the script.
They put my riffs in the script.
It's like, give me a
I
fucking
think there is a
credit.
rule.
Writer
I think the
credit.
rule is that they own it. I think they own like when you walk
Everything
into
you do in the audition?
Everything you do in the audition, it's like theirs.
It's like sending a packet to SNL. It's like
Yeah,
if
it's
your
just-
sketch ends up being used.
But
We're
I
sorry,
feel like
but
they
like,
have to pay you. No, I think they have to pay you. in
unless
that
they
situation.
if they
I mean,
vaguely.
look, yeah, I mean, look,
You know what I mean?
everyone can get vague about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did that when I went
It's
into.
also kind of a compliment.
Oh, of course.
They're
Yeah,
being
well,
like-
it's reaffirming. I think a compliment would be getting paid. I think
True.
it's more like
Yeah.
More
I think
like
it's
a-
more like
a
okay,
pat on the
yeah,
back.
like I
I would have preferred a check.
yeah, I think a compliment, the best compliment is money. But yeah, so when I went into audition for Sam, he actually wasn't in the room. It was like I just auditioned, with the person. I was in New York for a day, literally a day, and then I got the audition for it, and they were like, "Put
wow.
yourself on tape."
Wow.
And I was like, "No, I want to go in the room." And they're like, "Well, Sam won't be in the room." And I was like, "It's okay." And they're like, they hadn't read the role yet, so I actually think I was the first person to audition for the
Great.
role.
Yeah.
So I went in and riffed a bunch this and that. They call me randomly like a month and a half later, and they're like, "Yeah, come do it." And I was like, "Great." And so Sam was so cool. He was like, "You riffed stuff in the audition, just do that in between stuff when we're shooting."
Right.
Ramy Malek's voiceovers and stuff. And so it was just fun. It was just
That's
fun,
dope.
like
Yeah.
really cool set. Everyone's really cool. Ramy
Right.
Malek's awesome, really focused. I just learned watching. We did this one episode. It's like the whole thing kind of looks like a continuous shot, and so I had never seen them try to shoot something like that before, and just seeing the mechanics of that and the cameramen who did that. I mean, were like amazing. I actually wish I will remember their faces and the amount of sweat on their back for the rest of my life. So, but I don't remember their names.
Man,
so
those
please
crew
look up
people,
their
they're
names because
drenched.
The camera ops.
they are amazing. The camera
Yeah.
ops on that show.
And it's like, working on a show like that, you always assume that if you're acting on the show that all you're going to get out of it is just like other acting tips. What you don't realize is when you work on a show is like you're soaking in everything.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like the camera stuff, like
Yeah.
everybody from like line producing to like you're learning. That's like your film school.
You can be aware of as much as you want to be aware of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's every experience, right? I mean, if you
Yeah.
go in just zoned in on your job, that's probably what you'll get. But I think, people like us, we're probably going to go in and just like look at the whole thing and you walk away.
On Rect, I feel like I would take extra steps that I wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
If I was just a guest star on the
Yeah.
show, like I would go up and just be like, almost have to stop myself from annoying people because I'd be like, why are you using this lens and not the other one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And why are the cameras set up like this? Wouldn't it be better if wouldn't be better, but like, why didn't you do this?
Yeah.
And they'll like, because I'm on the show,
Yeah.
half the time I feel like they're just humoring me. But I think other times they're like, once they find out that you're not doing it for like small talk's sake and you actually give a shit, then they actually get geeked about it. Because like, they're like, nobody ever asks us.
Yeah.
No one ever asked the
People
audio guy.
love talking about like
Nobody ever asked the audio guy like what kind of lavs he uses, why
Yeah.
he uses Sennheiser over Sony
Yeah,
or
like
whatever. You know what I
Rode
mean?
or-
Yeah.
And they go, oh, I use this and I use this kind of tape because like when people sweat, it doesn't fall off. And I'm like, oh, that's great because it's been ripping off my body hair every single day. But it's like we're getting great audio. Like I get why we're doing this.
How much
kind of
body
stuff.
hair you got?
I mean, if I let it go, I mean,
It's like a thing.
I can
so
do
you
some
do you
damage.
deal with stuff around here?
goat face Christmas door greeter guys. You'll see Asif. You'll see Asif shirtless.
I gotta trim, man. It's not a sexy like, oh, I can let it go and it's like cool. It's like it's full, yeah.
I have no chest hair. Like very like 7.
And here's the thing, I think when people are growing up, everybody wants what they don't have, right? So when I was growing up, kids were like, man, you have a mustache. And I'm like, I'm 5'3". Just appreciate what you have.
How soon did you have facial hair?
Pretty like 7th grade. It was pretty on. It was on, yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
I couldn't do anything until 2 years ago.
Same, and I'm
2
still
years
struggling.
ago-
No
I'm still
wonder you're
struggling.
fucking with the beard heavy.
I know. I was just like, I can do. Like, it's really just me like stretching. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know.
This is
that
like
this was,
boring to me now. It's like I got a beard, I got a trim.
Yeah,
This is
shit
like
all
a
the
month.
time.
This is a month.
That's
of
a
me.
month.
That's a month.
I
Yeah.
let it go for like
Hey, man,
a month and a half.
We all
You know,
go
I'm not.
through what
I'm
we
not
have to go through.
complaining.
We
I'm
all
not-
go through. We gotta go.
Yeah,
through.
you know, like cool, full beard would be dope, but
but it's
but I feel
for-
like that comes with body hair as well.
Yeah.
That's
Not
the thing.
not to shame any body
No,
hair.
but-
No,
like,
we should shame them because it's like not shame them, but like applaud them for the amount of work that like if you ladies, if
let's
you see a dude,
recognize them. Let's recognize men with body hair.
like if ladies,
Yeah.
if you're out with the dude and he takes his shirt off and that shit is like trimmed, just know he's putting in as much time as you are shaving your legs and all that. So the amount of time you're spending, he's spending the same time to make sure
But
that
it's
it's
his
not
full
a
body,
fucking Sasquatch
his back,
event.
his
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I'll take it any day because I got a full head of hair.
Oh my
And
God.
this is
I'll
thick.
take that.
That's thick, man.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
face-
this
you
is
have
trimmed.
no patches.
This is
So
trimmed.
if you go like
That's
clean
beautiful.
shave right now,
I'll
how-
show you a picture, man.
How
It's-
quick does it come in?
I did a pilot for NBC a couple years ago, and they wanted me to look much older, so I
Right.
just let it go for like 2 months. I swear, it was like, because my beard is like, it's like James Harden, where like it just
Yeah.
gets, it doesn't really grow out. It just like it gets gnarly and like thick.
dense.
It becomes very dense.
Yeah.
Where like you lose your lip. It's just like
Yeah, you got to go in and recover your lip.
like that kind of a thing. So like
Yeah.
even then like it's just and it's like itchy when it gets really
It's
big.
amazing.
But then there's like beard oils and all that. I never.
I'm not into
I
those.
use a little bit of oil just because mine's not. Yours is nicer than mine. Mine gets like kind of just gets weird. So I put in a
Okay.
little something and it like kind of stays in.
Keeps it even and stuff.
Yeah, it keeps it
I
a
will
little
say,
even, yeah.
very calming when your beard gets big to run a comb through it.
Oh, amazing.
It's like what I imagine like a mother like doing her daughter's hair on like a porch.
Sure.
But then
It
you're
is
doing it.
instantly transported to a porch wherever you might be. It's really having a beard is like having your own porch.
Yeah.
It's
Nice
really
fall day,
a
the sun's
beautiful
about
way
to go
put it.
down.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
you're just combing your beard. Yeah. Can't relate. Can't relate.
No.
But anyway.
so you do that, right?
And now you have Hulu announced that you and Gerard Carmichael is
Doing a pilot.
he the
Yeah.
co-creator or just executive producer?
Executive producer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or I mean, I don't know what the roles are.
Okay.
We all made a thing together.
How did this come
that we're
about?
really
Because I mean,
excited about.
these are steps in a person's career. You know, if they're fortunate enough to get there, right? You come out and you're just happy to be a part of something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then then you start making a name for yourself. You know, people know you as you, right? Then you're on a thing that's an acclaimed thing where you're like, okay, I see how this works, right? And then if you're fortunate enough, you get to do your own thing, right? But that's a big step, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easier to be like, I'm just gonna hide here because if this thing is whatever, that's
Yeah.
not on me, right? But then when it's like, oh, this is me, it's
Yeah.
my story.
Yeah.
There's a lot more weight and pressure on it because whatever happens,
Yeah.
it's you.
Yeah, it's you.
So I mean, what was that pitch process like? Did you just? I mean, you're friends with Gerard.
Yeah, we
And
were
people know
friends.
Gerard from the Carmichael Show and his specials,
Yeah.
but did
Yeah.
you just? Was that a conversation that you guys had?
We met. I always forget where we met exactly,
Yeah.
but I remember we both remember our first two interactions. One was actually at a party at my house where he like came with someone, and then we kind of like had a great combo.
Yeah.
But then we also had this like really great combo at the roast of Justin Bieber, and I'm not sure which one was first.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember. I think I have to pull out a calendar and see
Yeah.
like what was when. But we were just friends. We just met up. We both did stand up. It was really funny because I think at that point Gerard had already done a special, but I had never seen it. I had never even seen him do stand up. I was just like, oh, I like this guy.
Just wanna get lunch with
And
this guy.
I just want to get lunch with this guy. And to be honest, what we talked about was God.
Yeah.
We both
Yeah.
vibed really well with each other in
Yeah.
kind of feeling like, oh, this is someone I can kind of talk to about what it's like to be in Hollywood, to be in LA, and to kind of be navigating this thing while also be navigating something else internal.
Yeah.
This other thing that takes whatever forms it takes with whoever, but
Right.
that this was just like super present. That like I think with either me or him, if you get talking to us for more than 10 minutes, God will come up.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so it kind of just came up right away with us, and we were like, "Yo, this is cool," And
Yeah.
and so at a certain point, we had talked about something that I had felt, which I was like, I've never really seen anything specifically in comedy, but maybe even broader, where like God wasn't portrayed either as this terrible thing or in this really cheesy, like,
Yeah.
angels in heaven,
Right.
or just, something made only for, there's like the whole, Christian
niche thing,
films
yeah.
and like, niche, like,
Right.
only Muslim content or whatever. I was kind of like, how, if there was ever something I would want to make, if there's ever something I would want to see, it would be like that feeling that I have in my head where I'm just living like the life that everyone lives, but every interaction's kind of colored with like, what's God
Yeah.
think about that? Or like,
Yeah.
what am I a good person? Am I
Right.
not? What is a good person? Those feelings and those things that I think I was raised with this type of awareness / schizophrenia maybe, but like, where is that? Where's that thing? And so
Yeah.
I think we connected on something like, oh, we would love to make something like that, like pretty early on.
Yeah.
And then I was opening for Gerard on the Road while he was prepping his second HBO special. And and so we kind of, very organically, like it was over years, over like, a couple of years, just kind of going back and forth. And,
right.
Until it kind of became really obvious that it was what we should do.
That's really great, man. Because usually, because I've gone through the same process too, but it's like it's never that. It's very rarely that where it comes out organically through conversation, and then you develop something. It's usually like you walk into a room, and people are on the other side of the table, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck do you have?" And then you go, "Oh, do you guys?" So I grew up in a thing, and then you have to create 10
and they're
years.
like, "You grew up? What? If you don't have an executive producer, you didn't grow up anywhere."
Yeah,
all
who's
right, buddy?
attached to this?
Yeah.
Either get Dev Patel or get the fuck out.
Get Dev Patel, or you weren't born where you said you were. And you're like, okay, yeah, no, Dev's like, Dev and I, we met at this thing once, and and I held his drink, and
because that's usually what it is. So if you're not coming in like that. People,
for the record, I would love to get Dev Patel involved in any project I'm doing.
I would do anything.
So Dev, if you're out there,
I would love to do a project with Dev Patel where I play his just dumb little brother that he pushes onto train tracks or something. Yeah, whatever. It's
that'd be
like,
amazing,
right?
Did you see that train track short film on Facebook? It's
No.
like this Bollywood Indian train track thing.
Oh,
Have you
where
seen
the
this?
kid
With
falls.
the little kid falls.
Oh my god!
Oh, dude, this is one of the most
Intense. I think you shared it.
It's from a Bollywood movie. Which, by the way, though, for the record, every scene in a
It was a
Bollywood movie is very
PSA. It
intense.
was a PSA.
It was an Indian PSA
Where
about train
a
tracks.
father and
Oh, that's real though, because that there's too many people.
Yeah,
it was a
man.
father and a well,
daughter.
I don't know. I feel like that's gonna take a long time.
It's it's one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen.
It's the weirdest.
No, but it's like anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
You're watching it and it's just like it's very fucked up.
Crazy.
I don't know if you guys reference clips on this, but please, make sure people see that.
We should.
I don't even know how to look that up.
I need
I don't know. What do you Google? Like,
I think if you Google Indian train track girl, motorcycle dead, she dies.
Spoiler alert. Thank you for
Sometimes you can't get saved.
The daughter dies. She comes back as an angel above the train tracks.
Oh,
The
that's
father's
right.
crying over his motorcycle.
He
he saves the motorcycle, but not his daughter. It's a really strange
and
choice.
then the bike.
He makes the strangest choice.
Yeah,
I've
the
ever seen
motorcycle
someone do.
falls on him or something, and he just can't lift this bike up.
He's struggling.
And to be fair, I was in Malaysia the other week. I got into a motorcycle accident, and I was able to lift that shit up instantly because I was like,
Wow.
Malaysia.
I was just hanging out. But
He's hanging out,
but
man.
like
You went to a wedding. Shout out to Yuna. I see what you're
Shout
doing out here,
outs,
baby.
yeah.
Getting that ring.
But the first thing I did, I checked my phone because I was like, I gotta fucking tweet about this shit.
Yeah, of
this
course.
bitch hit me. But and I saw a tweet about it.
So it wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't my fault. And then, but then I was like, I'm bleeding. So I was like,
You were
can't do it.
bleeding?
Oh
When?
yeah. I was like, my arms and my palms, my skin was like road burn like crazy.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was fun.
That's a good travel story though, because usually people's travel story is like, I went and then everything was great. I went jet skiing and I came home. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Or like I went jet skiing and then I ate this thing and then my stomach hurt. And
Yeah.
then everyone's stomach hurts or they go jet skiing.
Oh,
And everyone
that's-
acts like their stomach hurting is
First time it happened.
they act like it's unbelievable that you would travel 15 hours and something might give you diarrhea. They're like, why isn't everything perfect here? People are living in abject poverty, and I'm living on a rooftop bungalow. I can't believe the water didn't sit well with me.
It was wild. Yeah, I everything I ate would just make me go. And then so when I was in the hospital, they gave me like painkillers and stuff. And then I was like, can I get some anti-diarrhea pills while I'm here? And then that like backed me up.
You don't travel with Imodium?
Nah.
Come on, that's like traveling
Yeah.
101,
Yeah,
man.
and they gave me Imodium, and then I like 2 days in, I'm like, yo, I've been constipated. I'm like,
you
now I
took
need
too much.
Now I was like, now I need laxatives to like reverse what the Imodium did.
Wow.
It was
Popping Imodiums at parties and shit. He's like, I'm good.
But anyways, outside, I don't know how this got so wild, but yeah, India motorcycle. I don't know where we're going.
No. So what I was trying to say is that, so like when you're pitching a show,
that's
usually what it is you're coming in and like, you're selling it like you're in a circus.
Yeah.
But this kind of thing that you had with Gerard, and I think it shows in in the pilot is that it's very organic, just like the conversations you're having with him.
Yeah.
The show and the way it plays out, it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah.
You know, it's very much about you navigating your own life with your family and all these things that otherwise, if it was done through the system of like 10 layers of suits telling you and giving you notes, all of those little moments when you watch the pilot, there are those moments where I'm like, oh, that could have been corny. 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 When your parents are talking, that could have been a way of like them being, you know, pushing hard on the accent and then, you know, shaking you and being like, why don't you get married? And then your sister being like, yeah, I'm married. Why don't you get married? You know what I mean? But you took the other angle because it's real and you didn't have fucking, you know, 45 people being like, well, we want, you know, people in Nebraska to laugh at you instead of understand who you are.
And that's, I think, what I really, really appreciated about that. It was not a jab at like, look how goofy like Muslim girls are. And like, you know, there's
it's not at the expense of.
And that was my biggest grief with The Big Sick, where it was like, you know, it was this it was like him meeting these like brown girls and they were just like these really weird, like their characters were like these goofy women, and I loved how like not your parents weren't, you know, I feel like there's going to be more obviously more exploration into your parents and stuff in the future, but no, I loved how it was like, hey, I'm Muslim, let me show you how weird and like odd we are, but it's like you know,
also, I mean, you know, everyone's story is different, like what you were trying to do, because you have much more time too. Right?
Yeah.
A TV show, you have way more
you
time.
have more time.
To really
Movies
get
always
to the
gonna
nuance.
simplify.
Movies,
Yeah.
like, how can I describe this in a second so I can get to this other thing? But
yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me that's always really more interesting, whether it be stand-up, TV, film, I think if we're talking about being Muslim, which like we have to, right? Like it's not like it's the only thing I have to talk about, but it's the thing I have to talk about. So because no one, I have not seen people talk about it in a way that I dig yet. You know, like it just hasn't happened.
100%.
Like, I've seen a lot of defense. I've seen a lot of look at how we are victims when we shouldn't be. And all those things are very valid, and all those things should exist in their capacity. But for me, what's like always really interesting is like the internal struggle is kind of like, okay, I have problems. I want to talk about the ones that are because of me. You know, I want to talk about my own doing, how my own confusion, and not because of my parents, not because of the racist guy around the corner, not because of those people are all real. Those people all give you problems. But I think the most interesting kind of problems to watch is someone who got themselves in that mess. You know, and so how do you show Muslims who are complicated like that? How do you show
like regular people?
You know, flawed.
And you would think that would be easy.
I know.
Right? It's easier said than done.
Easy.
It sounds like a
easy.
slam dunk, but there's a reason it's never been done.
It sounds easy. But then you try to do it and you're kind of like, oh, yeah, because you have a lot of people being like, well, what if it's this thing? And you're like, well, you know, that, okay, but no. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to be called like a sand bitch or whatever. I don't know, you know, like whatever it is. And then
like, what are we achieving?
And then that makes me cry, and it's like, okay, well, why? Like, what's the? Is that something people say? Sand bitch.
Sand bitch.
They are now. Hashtag sand bitch on this episode.
If you see any of us on the street, drive by.
Yell out sand bitch. We're getting the t-shirts already printed.
What changed my life was when I was just this was Tuesday. You know,
this is your Jeff Foxworthy bit.
Someone called me a sand bitch. I was like, what?
You might be a sand bitch if
You ever go to the beach?
It might be a sand bitch, Just an entire auditorium people laughing at
you. Might be a sand bitch.
You gotta see this guy. He's hilarious.
Did you guys see the sand bitch guy?
The sand bitch guy. He's going viral.
No, it's funny because you guys are two of the very few people who have seen what we made so far, the early cut, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, we're basically, you know, we presented it to them, and you know, then we'll find out if we get to make a season, which I hope we do.
I think it's
Dude,
I think what it's
awesome.
doing different
That's
than
legit
other
be
shows,
awesome.
like you're saying, is that, you know, it's just presenting. It's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
That's really. It's almost like an exasperated feeling when you finish it. You're just like, he's a normal dude. Why did it take so long?
Yeah.
To have a normal dude who happens to be, you know, fill in the blank, right?
Yeah.
normal dude. Why can't we do this for all of the things?
Yeah.
No, why is it taking so long? Normal dude who is whatever. Normal dude who is, a person who is normal dude trans. Normal dude's Muslim. Why is it so difficult to just do that?
Well, it becomes, I think, a lot of things that are being made and a lot of comedy in general, stand-up, everything becomes a lot about the identity marker, and less about the humans behind them.
Yeah.
And it's hard, you know
It's
what I mean?
very
Like
hard.
we're lucky, because we're situated in a place, I think our generation's situated in a place where we have all the information.
Right.
And it's laid out in a really interesting way. And we've seen the failures and we've seen what could be successes.
Right.
And then we're kind of like, okay, cool. We can actually walk into a world that is ready to accept us.
Right.
That's different. This is unique. When our dads came over here, it was like, whoa, let me pretend I drink and let me hide and let me this and that.
Yeah.
Now you're like, I don't drink, and people are like, whoa, that's punk rock. That's cool. You know, like
What
that's,
are you, straight edge, dude?
Yeah, sick. Like you know what I mean? Like that's like,
funny.
like
I think he plays bass.
Before it would be like you couldn't, you know what I mean? You couldn't be a businessman and
Yeah.
make money to support your family if you didn't go out and drink with the bosses.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
they'd
that's
be
true,
like,
yeah.
"What are you like?" So we don't face that, and I think that then becomes our responsibility. Where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, now we have to make work that is like really vulnerable, really uncomfortable, but that is authentically us. That
Right.
opens up those doors that like we haven't had the landscape to talk
Yeah.
about. So that to me is always going to be way more interesting than like there shouldn't be a Muslim ban, because it's like, first off, like there isn't one kind, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
always been one, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the Muslim ban is not like a Trump thing. Like that's like Obama. Everyone's been doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we want to talk about that issue,
Right.
we need to talk about it in a totally different way, right? That's not like Trump's killing Muslims. It's like, no, actually we're all killing Muslims
every
because
day.
of the way America overconsumes,
Yeah,
because of the way that we use resources. That's the convo. I'll have that
Right.
convo all day.
Yeah.
But to be like Trump, ruined Palestine, it's like, no, that's a fabrication, you know? And so those convos are beat to death, and
So
it's like,
it's-
how can we, take it to another
So
direction?
it's almost getting past the oversimplification, going a little bit deeper, and that will And I think ultimately that will allow you, moving forward from this, the pilot, it's like to really get into it, because that's ultimately what you like about shows. You don't really like about, if they're just parroting issues. It's more about like, do I connect with these human beings?
Yeah.
And do I want to see, and I want to follow them and see what happens to them?
Yeah.
And I just think, it's a great pilot, man.
Oh,
and I've
thanks,
done a lot of trash pilots.
Thanks,
so
man.
I can tell you.
He actually laughed. They were like, Asif's a hard
Because you
guy
had some
to-
great people, like I really like friends
He's a
of
hard
mine,
guy to
like,
make laugh.
Dave Marhaj.
Oh my God,
he's
dude.
like one of
Dave
the
Marhaj
funniest
is
comedians.
amazing, dude.
I don't know why he's not more famous than he is. He's so
He will
fucking
be.
funny.
He's
Um,
the bald.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's more than a bald comedian.
Well,
He's
in the
so
show.
sorry, Dave.
In the show, I just
but
need to know because he's sitting between.
He's a really funny comedian
Yeah.
from Canada. Who's really really
Dave
great,
Marhaj is-
and just a great dude too.
Yeah.
And
the cast was great. The cast
you
was
got
like
you got Muammar to be in the show, and just that, even like that scene right there. I've had that conversation with cousins. You know what I mean? That's the real conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's,
And just that. I mean, and ultimately it's about getting great performances. And I think just in that scene in particular, I was like, we're maximizing here. That's like Dave was doing something that he normally doesn't do, right? And then Mo was doing something he kind of doesn't do, right? So it's like, but in a way, like you're really tapping into their
it's very authentic. Yeah.
and it wasn't over the top or whatever. And I mean that was probably like my favorite scene of the show. I was like, that's great, but and it's just like great to see like friends doing well.
Yeah.
It's really fun, man.
Right?
I think it's, this too from pilot. It's like you learn a lot. You're like, oh, that works, this works. And so it's like finding those things and just doing more of it.
Were there certain difficulties in shooting the show?
Yeah, I mean, like any show,
Right.
but it's also, I think that what you start to kind of realize with these things, with pilots, and in trying to make something authentically Muslim, it's hard because there aren't a lot of people who meet like a certain qualification that like the industry respects or whatever, that you can get on. Okay, let me say this in a better way. We have to shoot in December. We got to shoot the first week of December. What TV director that the network and the production company will approve to helm a $1.5 million budget?
Yeah.
That has the certain experience they feel a comedy, whatever, fill in the blanks needs. Who's on that list?
But it's also sensitive to.
But how do you find that guy? How do you find that woman, or how do you find that guy? How do you find a Muslim person who, you know what I mean? Because I was like dying to hire a Muslim director, but it's like the ones I know were either tied up in other projects or had never done a narrative, even though I know they can, but it's like, I'm already the unknown. I'm not like a TV star, you know what I mean? And so rightfully so, I don't disagree with this, but a network is like, we're going to throw 2 million, like,
we don't
know. Well, it's not even just, but it's like, you know, you need to see the work. You always need to see the work, because you could sit down. I mean, I've sat down with people who, you know, talk a talk, and then you see the thing they put up on screen, and you're like, I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a thing, you know? So I get it, you know, I get, but it really, you know, to have someone who has the sensitivities, and it's tough. It's tough to make the thing, to make it authentic. And, you know, what we were really lucky with was, I would say, like, the producing team that I had with Gerard, with A24, with, you know, my co-writers, Ari and Ryan, like, everyone was so about how do we make this as authentic as possible. That's our priority. Our priority is making that. Hulu was really cool about being like, we just want this to be real, want this to be you. And I don't think that, you know, 5 years ago you had that option. Hulu, if anything, is like, we're making sure that this is authentic, because that's the only way to stick out, because there are a million places making shows now. So that's where we're entering like a really cool space, right? Because it's like, okay, if you want to stick out, it better be good.
It better have a goddamn stamp on it.
It better,
or Game of Thrones.
Or Game of Thrones.
You know what I mean? It's got to be something either that you're like,
be real,
lizard people,
or be dragons.
Right,
you know, like there's no middle space. You know, be fucking real, or there better be a fucking dragon. And if there isn't one, like, you're dead. You know, that's,
you're not going to be able to rise out of the.
No, and why should you? You know, like, go home. You know, and I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's gonna make everyone make better things. And I dream of a future where the only thing I have to do is watch TV shows and never even leave a seat.
Great.
I never want to experience nature. That's the goal.
We appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Man.
We've hit our hour and some 20-minute
Has
marks.
it already been an hour?
Hour and 20.
Goes by quick when you have a good conversation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man, dude.
We'd love to have you longer, but we'll bring you back.
Oh, dude, you wanna take a picture or what? Like, what? How do I
think you
make
gotta
this
go.
experience? How do I make this experience the best for you?
Dude, thank you so much for
I
coming
appreciate
by. Best of
the
luck
picture
with your show.
You know, let me pull it up for us right now.
Can
While we're still here, let me just fucking, because I thought I was looking cute that day, and it's like, you know, you look back, you're like 6 years ago, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck was I wearing?
Let me ask you one more business question.
Please.
How many iterations of, because I feel like a lot of our fans that watch this are like people who are like creatives and stuff, and like, how many iterations of the pilot did you go through before you ended up with the one that was your shooting draft?
7 million. I really don't. It's like, I mean, outline phase. So many outlines before hitting the thing that we're all like, oh, this is cool. Script phase. So many. I mean, just going in, tearing scenes apart. I mean, it's ruthless. It's really like, you have to be ruthless. Like, you just have to like rip it apart.
And you learned a lot from like the fact that like nothing's precious. Like if we can think of something better.
The only
we
thing,
have to do it.
The only thing that remains intact is your intention, your vision, the thing you want to say. The way you do it, you gotta be, you know, you gotta be willing to move that around so that it matches what your goal is, you know, like, and matches the thing that you want to do. But you have to be able to rip it apart. I would sit and write things until, you know, all-nighters until 6 a.m. And I'm like, boom, send off an email. Go to sleep, wake up 4 hours later, talk to my producers, and everyone's like, what is that? Why?
You know, I thought we could fit Idris Elba into this show. I don't know what the problem is here.
You know, and then you're like, oh, and then someone says one thing to you, and then in an hour you fix it, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, and that's the process.
And ultimately, like you're saying, at the end of the day, it's just like, as long as you stick to the mission statement, you'll be able to achieve it. Oh, and then the last question is, you know, being a Muslim comedian, you know, and going out there and doing shows and doing Colbert, and then, you know, when, you know, this show and all that, nobody loves everything.
Right?
And what you're doing with this show is you're presenting your faith and who you are, and you, ultimately it's just you.
It's me, right?
In a way that I think we can both already tell there will be.
Will bother people.
People will be like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
People don't have sex.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, there's a lot of moments in it
Yeah.
where people are just like, they're just going to be like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also going to be a huge group of people that are going to be like, finally, this
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? You just not think about it, or you just?
I mean, look, it's painful. You know, it's painful to, I think, be part of a community that you care about, but also know that you're going to make something for a sensitive community that will have reactions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, it's something that I prayed about a lot and cried about a lot. And you're just kind of like walking around and you're like, whoa, am I really going to put this out there?
Yeah.
Because that's not, you know, it hasn't been done before. Yeah. We haven't had like a pop culture bubble like burst for Muslims yet.
No.
It just hasn't hit. We've had like little hints of like, hey, did you know like Casey Kasem's Lebanese?
Yeah.
Like it's like all these like little like hints of like who's Casey? You know, it's
That's
like all
the
these
most
like
famous
little,
person.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
do you
yeah.
know like and
Yeah.
you know, or you watch something where you're like, it feels like someone put the Muslim thing on at the end to like it was the final like packaging thing to sell it off and you know, get nominations or whatever. And it's not this and we haven't had a thing that's like, oh, this is like I'm truly in the trenches of this thing. I care about this thing. Watch me try to reconcile that and watch me try to deal with the complications of that, you know, like and that for me, it was just the only thing I could make. Yeah. You know, so it's like how will it affect people? I have no idea. Like I hope that people will at least
appreciate and understand your intention.
Yeah, appreciate, or at least like, you know, like we have a show with practicing Muslims. Yeah. Who aren't running away from it, who aren't, you know, but who are confused about it. Mm-hmm. And I think like, you know, also it's a TV show. It's not, I'm not telling people how to live their lives. There's this quote, you know, television is not prescriptive, it's descriptive. Yeah. We're showing you some stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing we did that hasn't happened and isn't happening right now. Yeah. So, you know, I didn't go and make something up. I'm not trying to make anyone look like an asshole. It's just, this is an experience that these characters have gone through. It's a description. If you like it, I hope you do. I hope you like some of it. You don't have to like all of it.
I mean, I look at it like this, man. If you believe and you know, are proud of the thing that you did and it's real and it means something to you, the least you can hope for is that it starts a conversation, because that's something that we don't even have. So having a conversation where those people who hate it and those people who love it can talk about it.
Yeah, that's exciting, man.
You already won.
That's exciting to me.
You already won.
That's the whole point. That's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah. This is a conversation starter.
That's it.
And that's what TV is constantly evolving. So I think it'll be hopefully we get to do a season that's filled with a lot of complicated conversations. I just want it to be as complicated as possible. Yeah. And hopefully this is the beginning.
I'm excited to see it.
Dude,
I hope so.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see you tonight though, but
oh shit, you guys dating?
Well, you know,
season 2.
Season 2.
You want to get really complicated?
All right, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That was all over the place. We kind of jumped from this to this to this.
But here's the thing. That's the great thing about our podcast. We talk about all of the things. And it's, you know, life is about going on tangents as long as you come back. Yeah. And I think we did that. Yeah. You know, we had a little something for everybody on this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's crazy that he got into college off of an interview.
It frustrates me, man, because I've been trying to... I got rejected. All I know is rejection in life. I get rejected from college. I get rejected from colleges, from film festivals, from job offers.
Not from girls though.
That's why I didn't know. That's why I didn't say that. Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, you know, it was great. You know, talking about his process of coming together with with Gerard and coming up with the idea for the show. Also, you know, it's so organic. I feel like all of his steps have been very organic, of like, you know, the stand-up thing, and then having someone be like, hey, just come on the road with me, and, you know, cutting your teeth that way. So I think it's a great lesson in that, you know, just stick to your guns and, you know, work hard. But if you just, you know, do what you do best and really explore that and craft that, you know, good things will happen.
Good things will happen. So thank you so much for being such a great supporter and audience and listener. Like, we couldn't ask for
how
better.
many episodes do we have now?
Somewhere in the 30s.
Come on, guys. Like, every single one has been...
It's been bomb, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what? I get it. We're sorry that we're not as consistent. This podcast has always been a side passion project for us. And, you know, Asif's filming. We have our own things
You're busy
going.
doing shit.
Yeah,
you know,
we have our
busy.
own. So, and it legitimately is hard to just book a guest, you know?
It's hard that people don't realize. It's hard to coordinate, you know, book, schedule times. You know, you're scheduling 4 different schedules with our producer, and also getting the guests, you know, because if they're dope, they're probably busy doing stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, ideally,
which is why you need to subscribe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you're on SoundCloud, follow the SoundCloud. Or subscribe to that. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're on iTunes, leave a gold star, 20-star, I don't know, review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us some hate comments about like how much you hate us. But make sure you subscribe. You know, we've been lacking in the hate, and we thrive off the hate.
Yeah. Also, if you've ever taken a picture with Ali, make sure that you tag it on Twitter or whatever. Make sure you tag a photo that you've taken with him. You know.
There have been photos out there. You know what's the worst?
What?
And I feel like shit. Have you ever taken a photo with someone and then like 2 years later they're like, "Hey, I met you like passingly at a comedy outside of a comedy venue for like."
I mean, I'm not that famous yet where that has happened a lot, but I don't have a great memory with names, and like I have to know you for a little bit for it to stick in my head.
I can never remember people in the like passing. If
I think that's what it is. Like if I once made the mistake of like, you know, because if you don't immediately just say it outright, like just give me a refresher on how we know each other, then it becomes bad. Once you start faking it, like, oh hey, what's up?
Yeah,
you can't. Once you're there, you can't backtrack. And then you just are like, I'm just never gonna know who you are. But if I'm like, yo, whatever, I'm just gonna straight up, I feel like, what did we work on together? And then they'll be like, oh, well, I worked on this. But I mean, obviously it doesn't work like if you don't know your cousin or some shit like that. But
no, like so my example is like, I'd be at some event or something, and then and especially at these events, you always talk to people, and or someone would be like, hey, it's nice to meet you, whatever. And then you go 2 years on with your life, and then you run into this person and they're like, oh, hey, and then from there, I'm like, I don't like, we met 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, and I don't know. I feel like an ass doing that, but I just don't. I don't know.
I'm always impressed with people who have great memories. Like
that's true.
Like, yeah, you're this guy, and I met you here.
You must have left an impression on them.
I guess. I just feel like some people just have really great memories. So
that's true.
Like,
I thought I used to be like that, but now it's like, I don't know.
You know what I think it is? I think because of the internet, like, we're inundated with so many people that we would never really know or meet.
That's true.
There's so many names you're trying to store up here of like people who are like you just know on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook, and then people you know in real life, and people who are acquaintances and people who are friends. So it's like you have to keep in mind that your name is being dropped into a bucket of literally like thousands of people. So I gotta know you for more than like.
Have you met anyone and they're like, oh, and then they say their URL or their like handle, and you're like, oh.
No, but I have met people where I have only known them. They've only existed on like Instagram or social media, and then you meet them, and it's like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like those daytime talk shows where it's like, and you thought you didn't know your dad, but we got him, and he comes out, and the person's like, what? Like, it's kind of like that where well, obviously not that to that extreme, but it's like that of like, man, I've known you, but I don't know you. No, it is weird.
For me, no, I've met literally hundreds of people, hundreds through like, and they're good friends of mine. Like when I first moved to LA, I had a Tumblr, and I didn't know a single person outside of like the internet people, Tumblr people that I was following in. And then I met up with them, and then from there, like I've met a lot of people through like Twitter. When I went to Malaysia, somebody like DM'd me like, hey, we see you're here. let's hang out.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
they showed me around, and I feel like that's what made the trip.
Yeah.
As to like, I don't know. I think I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's normal now to meet up internet people.
Also, I feel like, you know, you're at a comfortable position where you know pretty confidently, like, I mean, no one's trying to murder you. You know what I mean? But if you if you were like fucking like famous, they can't just be like, all right, and you're a dude. You know, if you're a girl,
Yeah, I
you
would
can't just be like, hey, random person that DM'd me. Yeah, let's just meet up.
Yeah, the male privilege is great in that, where I can just be
Yeah.
like, I'll meet up a straight. Like I met up this dude, another guy in Malaysia on an
Yeah.
island, remote island. He was like, I'm here, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
let's
but if
meet
you're
up.
like a girl, you're like,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds fun, but not gonna kill me.
Yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, I don't know how this led to anything.
Oh, what we're talking about is like, yeah, the remembering names and all that,
remembering names, remembering things.
just remember things.
Yeah,
But
okay.
anyways, the point is, guys, make sure you subscribe
Make
and
sure.
tell your friends about it. And you know, this podcast is never gonna die.
It's not gonna die. We might post once every 2 months, 3 months, once every year.
But it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be.
And it's worth
we're
the
chasing.
wait.
We're legitimately. We're actually chasing quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Because I could have filled.
But that doesn't have any
But see, that's-
bearing on
yeah.
the internet. Everyone on the internet is like, I want it now, right now, and I don't care if it's
So-
really that good or not.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, if we do that, should we do that? Like, cause I can be filling up these seats with our
You know
guests.
what?
Just like,
That's what we should ask you guys.
Okay.
Do you guys think that we should just have any guest every week just to have a guest?
Of like obviously it'll still be in that diverse spectrum.
Right, but they're not gonna be like, you know,
They're
like
gonna be like-
Ramy, like, oh, I have a show.
No, yeah,
and
I
work
think
on
we'll
things
aim for like academics, because I really want to like grab like a professor
yeah.
at UCLA.
Oh, I thought you
know?
were just thinking of like, just, you know, Instagram. You know what I mean?
Instagram. No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, well, I mean, diverse. I don't know. I mean, like, cause I know just.
I guess it should be in all aspects. Like, who are we to judge? I think that, fuck it. Yeah, why not?
I don't know, man.
Get whoever.
My only.
And here's the thing. If the episode sucks, just don't put it out.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
We don't have a network executive being like,
Yeah.
you have to put this terrible episode out.
Yeah.
We haven't had a terrible episode.
There's two of them that were tough.
And none of them were like, when you watch them back, you're like,
Yeah.
I can't get through this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to compliment us for carrying.
Yeah.
You know, we've had difficult guests, but we've made it work. But yeah,
But
no,
for the most part,
we haven't had
have, like, a
anything
very
terrible.
high hit rate.
Yeah, we haven't had anything like.
But as always, also tell us who you guys think we should get. And don't write down like Michael B. Jordan, okay? Because like we're not gonna be realistic. We're not getting Michael B. Jordan, okay?
Yeah.
He's out doing Panther things right now,
Yeah,
okay?
Creed 2 and all
Yeah,
that.
Okay, he has to work out 6 times a day.
That's true, yeah. And please don't tag them. Please.
Don't tag them.
Oh man, because
Don't
like
tag Obama.
no, like I don't want them tagging somebody and then that person, because
I get having goals, which we do.
Yeah.
We'd love to have Michael B. Jordan and
Yeah,
Obama on the show, but it's just like
I just
mean, come
have
on.
beef with a lot of people.
Let's move our way up.
Yeah, I just
slowly but surely.
I have tension and beef with a lot of brown people. Not
Why?
a lot, but there's enough of them that I
They
don't
come to you
like.
and they go like, "Just get Mindy Kaling," and you're like, if it was that easy,
No,
it would have happened already.
no, like other quote unquote influencers or people that are because if they tag them, then their name will show up in my mentions, and then people will favorite it, and then that person knows. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna invite you, even though 10 people favorited that person.
because your whole thing is just like farting on your roommate.
Yeah, literally, or being problematic and I don't know. So like, say their name, but just or even like bleep out a letter. So, because some people like search their names or they have notifications on anytime
Who
their
would have
name.
thought
their
people on
name
the
is
internet
tagged.
are narcissistic and search their names?
Because somebody did that. Someone mentioned just their name, not a tag. They wrote out their full name. Why don't you get blah 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 blah? And I did reach out to them, and I was like, I did reach out to this person, and then that person out of nowhere, they weren't tagged or anything.
Yeah.
Replies and like, you never reached out.
What?
And I was like, check your email.
Check your goddamn email.
Because I have the receipts, and they did. And they're like, oh my God, I must have overlooked. You didn't overlook. You looked.
You looked, and then you just kept looking.
Yeah. It wasn't overlooked. God, I'm
what,
so petty.
Oh, you're so petty.
Yeah.
You know what would be great though? Yeah, definitely getting academics. Somebody that we can have like a conversation.
And when
with.
we say academics, we're not talking about DJ academics from Complex. We're talking about.
I would interview him.
It would be interesting, but we're talking about
like people, like professors and shit,
Yeah.
or like people who do things.
Researches and studies.
Yeah,
that
whatever it is. If it's interesting,
Yeah.
we'll do it. And maybe that's on us. You
Yeah.
know, maybe we haven't been expanding because we've been in the world of TV and film and like that kind of
And
world.
the entertainment world.
Yeah, entertainment. I think we got to expand a little bit. We need to hit up like athletes.
We've tried like
No,
Amir.
that's true, we have
No,
tried.
Amir Khan was in town this weekend, but he left right before we could have booked him. So, and we've been saying that for a while. Blame Sue Mayer. Blame Sue Mayer. Blame Sue Mayer.
He's our producer, of course.
And he's our contact with Amir.
And yeah, I think we should definitely expand.
Yeah.
And you guys are right. We should expand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We should just do that. Just get
Yeah.
get people in the community. Get a city council person.
I'm just scared,
of what?
that if we get someone that's and this is the problem with the internet. If the name isn't recognizable, no one's gonna want to watch or click or listen to that episode. And that is only the issue on YouTube. On SoundCloud, people listen regardless.
Well,
And
those are the real. I feel like that's the people listening to
iTunes,
it on their headphones. Those are people going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it with the YouTube thing because it's like it's a visual medium.
Yeah,
you
and
know
they're
what I mean?
like, we want to see someone know.
We know.
Yeah.
I get that. But I mean, I think what it is like, no matter what, it's going to be a great,
Be a good episode and good
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
We got to bet on ourselves. Now this is
very
just
true.
us talking to each other.
But yeah, this is a podcast. This is like a traditional
This is a
podcast,
traditional podcast.
where it's like, let's
just talk.
about our ideas. I had a coworker that had a podcast, and they would record in the office.
That's kind of cool.
And like after everyone kind of left, like
Yeah.
after hours.
Yeah.
And it was always weird for me. I'm like, oh, you're just gonna record here? Because like we're so used to like it has to be in the apartment.
Yeah.
We need the cameras. Like we make it a thing where other people, I'll come to you. I'll just bring my recorder and microphones.
Yeah.
And they had like little lav or handheld mics, and I was working late one night, and they started their episode, and they were just talking, talking about current events, topics, and I was like, that's it. I'm like, I don't know if they're doing well. I don't know if they're not, but I was like, that's interesting.
He
though.
can't be doing that well. He still has a job.
Yeah, that's true. But I was like, that's interesting. I was like, yeah, everyone.
But that
has,
is very cool.
Everyone has like there's
thing.
podcasts for everything.
Yeah.
And everyone has a different vibe for a podcast.
A lot of people have asked us, why don't we just talk to each other?
Why haven't we?
I don't know. I think we just got so hung up in
Chasing
having
the views?
to have
a guest.
guest
Yeah.
that we just haven't entertained the idea of doing that.
That's true. Yeah, we should do that.
We should do that.
Well, I mean, you're leaving or you're gone already.
I know.
But when you come back,
We should do that.
2006. Oh wait. Oh my God. This is 2018.
2016. What year are you living in?
We
Jesus Christ.
Do you like?
Noelle
do you-
Luch is perpetually 2 years behind.
Do you feel younger than you are? Like, do you still feel
Yeah.
like you're like in your early 20s?
I don't feel like I'm 21
Like
because
mentally.
I don't feel stupid.
Yeah, not 21, but like 23, 24.
I feel like as far as my sharpness,
Yeah.
I feel very sharp.
Yeah.
And
In tuned. You're current.
I think when
you're
people say, do you feel young? I think what they mean is like, do you feel about your wits and shit? And I
Yeah.
do. But I think that actually should be flipped on its head. It's like, you shouldn't want to feel 21 because you were stupid when you were 21.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? You should like mentally like have the acuteness and like the wit of like a 21-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
But you should never want to be. Why would you want that? You were so dumb.
Yeah.
You were just like eating cereal 3 times a day. You were a fucking idiot. You should want to have like the mind of like be fucking like 80-year-old.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so you're like wise and shit, but like have like the, you know, the ability and the energy to. I feel like I still have the energy and the, you know, the willingness to do stuff that I have always had.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like I'm not as dumb.
As dumb as you
I still
are.
feel pretty dumb, but like not, because you never really
just,
feel that
like-
smart. But like I don't feel as nearly as.
But do you feel as old as you are? Because it's weird for me to be like, yo,
no.
I'm like, it's weird. I always got to wrap my mind around it. Like, I'm 28.
Yeah.
Like that time went by so fast. Like
Yeah.
it feels like I just got to LA.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been 6 years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a trip. It's this big trip. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it. I mean, I feel like it's a very LA thing to be like, oh God, I'm getting old. I like it. I think it's great, man.
I think
it's like
yeah.
I lived. As long as you like take care of yourself and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I would be sad if you know what I mean, if nothing was going on for me.
Yeah,
And like,
that's the thing. That's when you hit. I think when people are worried that they're getting older, it's because they haven't
achieved or
done anything.
done what they thought
Yeah,
they should be doing.
yeah,
But it's not even that, like, expectations. It's more about like, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I take care of myself.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, like I try to eat good and all that stuff. So like, you know, I'm just doing basic maintenance.
Yeah.
I'm trying to treat life like a Honda Accord. You know what I mean? You get the
That's
oil
true.
changes and all that.
Yeah.
Not trying to be like a Hummer or a tank
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
No. Just trying to like do the base, set your expectations, have ambitions, but like have your expectations.
Yeah.
Have a life. And it's like every year that you get older is like, it's great, man. Cause you're
Yeah.
like, you're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You get every year is like another chance to do whatever it is that you're trying to do.
That's true.
I mean, I live in no one's trying to kill me
That's
yet.
true.
I can afford to like eat and blah, blah. I'm not in abject poverty. So it's like
Yeah.
just on a whole stat sheet wise, doing great. And
Yeah.
most people are doing great.
Yeah.
And whatever problems that we have, most of them are pretty solvable.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah.
every opportunity, it's like LeBron playing for 15 years. It's like, that's amazing. He didn't get hurt. He didn't Derrick Rose himself, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you could have that Derrick Rose thing when he was 23 and he's like, blah, blah. But ask him now. He's like, my legs are broken. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I can't do shit. It's like, I'd rather have like, be the old guy who's like, you know, just been in it.
Yeah.
But gets to like be in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I am excited about the long term, but also like I'm not an athlete.
Yeah.
So the type of career that I picked has no bearing on how
Your
fit
physical-
I am,
yeah.
which is great because when I was growing up, I was like, I'd love to be a basketball player. And then you see people like a Derrick Rose and you're like, what's he going to do now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he has money and everything, but like, he's just like,
Dude,
he
I
can't play basketball. So
I
it's like,
rolled my ankle playing softball again, but I rolled it in September.
it's such a vicious game.
And I break my arm, I dislocated it, and I rolled my ankle in September, and it's still like
What
stiff.
kind of shoes are you wearing?
I was wearing like random ass cleats, man. But like I was running backwards, and like the fields in Burbank aren't flat. There's like
They're
pots
not,
and shit, like in
yeah.
little holes. So I rolled it, but like the point is like that was in September, and like 6-7 months
Still
later,
hurts?
it's still stiff. Yeah, like it's still, and it's. I can't imagine being a like professional athlete being like.
Imagine that was your livelihood.
Yeah.
You playing softball and you rolled your ankle and they're like, sorry.
Yeah,
You
it's
better
over.
get a job at a used car dealership. 'cause
Yeah,
this
yeah.
shit's over for you.
Yeah, I think as much as the show's lame, but Ballers kind of like depicts that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I like Ballers. Ballers is not it's not intended to
It's
be
an entertaining.
at no point is it intended to be like, God, you turn it off and you're like, man, I really learned today. It's
Yeah. Yeah,
He's not trying to, I mean, it's Ballers. It is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it
the
is
rock.
what it is. But yeah. Anyways, man. I feel like when you get back, we'll do more of this.
This is great. I
Yeah.
think people like this.
I think so. I like it, so I just hope it translates and people like it.
I
You
think they
know?
will. I mean, you know, people
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah, yeah.
People like us.
And this is the last episode that we did in this apartment because right now we're
Moving
in
locations.
We're moving. We've moved,
Uh-huh.
and our previous episodes
Bigger.
have been
Better.
yeah
More light.
more natural light. Yep.
And this guy
Zane's coming with us.
Oh, baby boy. I mean, that's going to really determine the layout of this new place.
Yeah.
Where you can set up
I've
that
literally
this guy's gonna be
like
behind.
I've been in that unit so many times just thinking like I've just been like, okay, where's the table going to be? Mm-hmm. And where's Zane? Cuz like we got to like do we have it behind us? Do we have it behind the guest this time? Like how but I feel like the guest, this is more of a technical thing. When we shoot the guest, we have it on a little bit of a longer lens, and
so they can move around.
And it's a little bit more faster, so more light comes in. So like the back is more blurred out compared to us.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to put it behind the guest because it'll just be just a blur. At least as if it's behind us, because we use a wider lens, a little bit slower. It's not completely shallow.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm just excited to be in a new bigger place.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do 3 cameras.
we could.
Let's
we
do
could,
3 cameras.
We could
man.
do 3. We could
That
finally
way
do
we can
3
have
cams.
that wide.
We can do the wide that we've always been wanting.
Bang.
Yeah.
And then maybe in this next episode, maybe with the YouTube video, we can play around with like how we were talking to Ramy about the picture and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we can play around with stuff like that of like having, like while the YouTube video is going on, have the picture
Like the Joe
take
Rogan
up the screen
type.
Yeah, why not? Play with the media.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
That's true.
Because if you're on YouTube, you might as well maximize it if it's a
Yeah.
visual medium. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like if we're talking about a video or something like that, play the video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, guys, a lot of exciting things are happening.
There's
and we
possibilities,
just had a production meeting, and you were there with us. And so things are going great. We're all busy. We're all doing stuff, but we always make time to do this show, and we appreciate that you hang out and you listen.
This was nearly a 2-hour episode.
I honestly, of all the stand-up shows that I've done and that people who love the show come out, they all tell me that the episodes should be longer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Every single person tells me the episodes should be longer.
Well, when
Because like just like this episode with Ramy, it felt abrupt.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like maybe
You know what I mean?
we could let it go longer.
And just cut it if
Yeah.
it's boring, but I don't think it'll be boring. I think if anything,
I'm just always worried about like because Sumer was like on edge because he had to go.
well, yeah, because he has like
He has a work. He's a lawyer.
He has an actual lawyer job.
Yeah. So I think if we can schedule it where we're like we can be here. If we could bring it back to the weekends. Well, and he's married too, man. Sumer got married.
Yo, honestly, big news. Sumer got married, and honestly,
We're happy for
we're
him.
happy for him. But as you know, this is
Yeah.
gonna sound like cliched bro talk, but like he just doesn't hang out with us as much anymore.
Dude, he hasn't. He's only hit me up once in 2 months.
Versus
He got married
all the time.
Yeah, he got married on Christmas, right? Well, he had like a couple
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
I
yeah.
went to the Christmas one. Do you know what this guy said to me before I went up?
I want to hear it.
He
And
was-
I already know it's gonna disappoint me.
He was like, "You're coming to my wedding, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." He was like, "Cool. Bring your cameras." I don't know if he wanted me there to watch to be there on his big day, or if he just wanted a free camera operator.
Wow.
But you know what? I don't do wedding presents, so that was my gift. That was my. I've never filmed the wedding before in my life.
that is actually a very good wedding present
Yeah. I mean,
because it's something that you already do.
Yeah, and it was interesting, but yeah. So after Christmas, I've only gotten hit up once.
But I really feel like longer episodes, and I'm not even joking. Every single person has said do longer episode, because if you're talking to someone, and we have really good rapport and good conversations with all of our guests, that you know, like we could have easily talked to Ramy for like another 40 minutes. Like there's so much to unpack when you're talking to someone and literally trying to get at their entire like existence and purpose. It's like you've never really had a deep conversation with a friend and been like, all right, 45 minutes, I'll see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always been like they're long. Like all the good conversations that you've had in your life have been long.
Yeah, it was funny because in the middle of this, towards the end, when we hit the 1 hour mark, I got Sumer on the document was like, you know, so what we kind of do is like our producer sits on the couch over there on his laptop, he watches, and then we have a shared document that that's why my laptop's always open, and he'll give me notes like, oh, touch on this, move on from this topic, go back to this, you know. But he was like, we've hit an hour, wrap it up. And I kind of sent a reply. I was like, it's finally, like, we're hitting some gold now in an hour in, you know?
Yeah.
And we went for an hour and a half. And I don't know if I might trim some things down, depending. I don't know.
But ultimately, like, allowing yourself, like, I mean, I get the idea of like keeping it an hour.
Yeah.
For like YouTube and stuff, but like a lot of podcasts that I listen to, a lot of them are like at an hour and go over.
Yeah.
Because really, I mean, and you guys tell us,
Yeah.
tell us, like, would you guys like if the, if the podcasts were longer or shorter, or the length that they're at right now, which is like an hour. I just feel like don't have rules.
Yeah.
Like, if you're having a conversation with somebody on the show and the conversation naturally feels like it's 46 minutes, it's 46 minutes. If you're having a conversation and it naturally feels like it's an hour 25, it's an hour 25.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Plus, you can, like, we never really edit, but you could take stuff out if you want to. You know what I mean? So allowing yourself that flexibility, I think, will make the podcast even better.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think that you guys would agree with this.
We've done the podcast for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Given that our numbers don't show for it, but we've done it long enough where we can, like, experiment now with.
I think we should experiment
with different. I
think we should
formats.
experiment with length.
Yeah.
With medium, meaning like pictures, videos, and stuff like that. And I think we should try experimenting with location.
Okay.
If we can get like a bomb ass guest, and they're like, well, we can only meet at our hotel.
Yeah.
Get a fucking easel.
Yeah. We'll do that.
None of this is impossible to take around. You know what I mean?
No, we don't even need power extensions.
And if anything, and I don't know if you guys would agree with this, I think it would be fun. Like, if you're playing in a visual medium, and you're like, oh, we're doing this interview. Like, for example, this interview we just did with Ramy, right?
Yeah.
How dope would it be if we did this interview like on set?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Right? Or if we did, an interview with like, like if we got like an academic, like if we did it like in like a, in a lecture hall.
Yeah.
Or if we did it, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Even like when you took the podcast to New York or whatever, right? That must have felt cool, right?
It was so trippy. It was trippy,
right? And it's like that. If you
it was cool though. I liked
videotape that.
Yeah.
That would have added like a texture to it.
Yeah.
That other podcasts aren't really doing. It's easier to do this.
Yeah.
But it's like, since we're not operating in the rules of every Wednesday we have a thing, and it's gonna be 51 minutes every week, we should take that as like license to be like, yo, let's just do crazy shit, and then through that I think we'll be able to find something even doper than what we're already doing. That's just great. And I think that'll make it more fun for the audience too. It definitely for like the people watching on YouTube. Like for the people listening to it on SoundCloud, it may not make that much of a difference. The length will for sure. But if you're watching it on YouTube, which is like the primary kind of thing, if they're watching it on that and like every interview is in a different location. I mean, I think as a viewer myself, that would be like, yo, this is so cool. They're interviewing him here and they're interviewing there. Like I think that'd be great.
That would be awesome. And we're down to do that for 2018. We're down to get.
Let's do it.
Let's mix things up. Yeah.
We're going to mix things up, guys.
Yeah. All right, you guys. You stuck around
for our production meeting.
And, literally. We just had a meeting, but we're like, for some reason, we're like, let's do it. Yeah.
I think we should maybe try that.
Maybe. Because
we're not saying anything that they don't already know.
Yeah, because a lot of people always have questions like, what's happening? When's this going? Like, and I'm like, if we kind of do this, it answers all the questions.
Or they're like, oh, okay, this is why they took time off.
Yeah, but I feel like no one will talk to me at that point because they're like, oh, we know everything. We were there for that general body meeting between you. I'm like, okay, well.
But yeah, guys, this is what goes on in making a podcast, and we're very much still into it, and
camera's about to go out.
Yeah, so subscribe, like, listen, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.